never-ending college basketball season is going to come to an end on a championship Monday night in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Lucas Oil Stadium, one of the great venues in Final Four history. Perhaps tonight will be the site for one of the all-time national championship games. It is the University of Connecticut Huskies and the Wolverines from the University of Michigan tonight to duel for a championship that, no matter the result, will be won by not only a worthy champion, but by one of the all-time great championship-winning teams. Either it's a Michigan club that has been among the best, if not the best, in college basketball all season long, finally finishing with a coronation of a championship that Wolverine fans have been waiting for so very long, multiple decades for. Or it will be UConn cementing their place as a dynasty in the sport as they aim for their third national championship in 4 years under Dan Hurley. Tonight, the Huskies and the Wolverines to battle for a spot in basketball heaven. Hello, one and all. I'm Matthew Owens. Welcome to Indianapolis. Thanks for having us in for the national championship game. Seth Eaves and JT, Pierre Moss, all along for the ride here tonight. We are so excited to be here with you on this channel for our first national championship game on this channel and on the YouTube platform. This is one of the most anticipated nights, of course, of every sporting season, certainly is for us. The national semifinals were here on Final Four Saturday just 2 nights ago. UConn with another Dan Hurley workman-type Connecticut performance to advance to yet another championship game. They've won 6 of these championship games in their program's history, and they've never lost a single one. This is a run of greatness that started over a quarter of a century ago with an upset win in the championship game in 1999 against Duke. Tonight, they are the decided underdogs of this championship game against Michigan, hoping to repeat history. For the Wolverines, a program that has not won a championship since 1989, and a very controversial national championship it was that they won in '89 over Seton Hall. They've played in many championship games since then, and many of those have been lost in heartbreaking fashion. Tonight, Dusty May trying to get the Wolverines to their first title since that magical night in '89. And what a turnaround it's been that Dusty May has authored for this Michigan program that just 2 years ago won a total of 8 games for the season. He has turned it around in almost record time. This just his second season at Michigan. He's in his second Final Four. Of course, he was here with FAU just a couple of years back. That was a Final Four won by Dan Hurley and Connecticut. Tonight, May trying to keep UConn from winning their third title in 4 years and 7th overall. The storylines, they are so many here for this national championship game, and I'm thrilled to be sharing the mic once again for a championship game with my guy Seth Eaves. And Seth, we are ready to go for a Michigan and UConn championship game that it certainly feels like is going to result in one of 2 storylines. Either Michigan marches through all of the madness and dominates everyone, or UConn finishes with another flurry and refuses to lose, as they seemingly always have on this stage.
Good evening. Yes, indeed. Good evening, everybody. Seth Eaves with you here, and we have indeed made it to quite the championship night. As Matthew mentioned, 1989, the only time Michigan has won a national championship. 4 times since then, they've made it to Monday night. 4 times they've come up a bridesmaid. But this team has been special from the word go this season. There was a lot of expectation. No doubt about it, the Wolverines are trying to do it. Michigan is also, from a conference perspective, trying to, 1, end a Big Ten drought, and 2, continue what's becoming the year of the Big Ten. Indiana won the football championship. UCLA won the women's basketball championship yesterday, and now Michigan could be the first Big Ten school since Michigan State of the year 2000, also in Indianapolis, to win the national championship. And Matthew Owens, if ever the streak was going to end, it feels like it would be with this team. I mean, from the opening day of the season, there was expectations about this team, and yet they have just stuck to their guns. You've had them a bunch. Lord knows we both watched them a bunch. They only lost 3 games during the year, at home to Wisconsin, a neutral Florida Duke, and then to Purdue in the Big Ten game. But all year long, you watched Michigan and felt they were no worse than one of the 4 best teams in the country.
3 losses by a combined 16 points on the season, and that was by 3 to Wisconsin, 5 to Duke, 8 to Purdue, 2 of them on a neutral site. Michigan's been one of the best teams all season long, as you mentioned, and there's no doubt that this would be a champion worthy of wearing the crown. And they've done it in so many different ways, but one thing that has been constant in the way they've done it and why they've been so good is, of course, Yaxel Lindeborg, who was a consensus All-American. He's one of the best players in the country, but they're also one of the biggest teams in the country. The 7'3" center from Spain, Adai Mara, has been spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely, it has indeed. Well, in this tournament, Michigan, they've done what they've done a lot of the year. Bludgeon people, specifically in the second half. They were only up by 4 at halftime against Howard in the first round. They won big. Second round, also a close game at the half against St. Louis. They won going away. Sweet 16, struggled, was in a somewhat tight game at the half against Alabama. They won going away. And then in the last 2 games, Matthew, against Tennessee and Arizona, they were threatened until the ball was tipped off.
I mean, it's been an incredible run, and we've talked about what a great second half team they've been all year long, and it's not because they just magically get better in the second half. They have so much depth on this team that once you reach the 25, 30, 35-minute mark of games, when everyone else is tiring out, it's just getting to the right time for Michigan. So much depth, along with the talent, along with the coaching, and of course, they've got a little spice to them as well.
Just to reiterate, Howard by 21, St. Louis by 23, Alabama by 13, Tennessee by 33, Arizona by 18. They've eclipsed 90 in every single game in this tournament. Now, about UConn. This was one of the teams you put in the blender at the start of the year and thought they would be in the national championship mix. Disappointing year by their lofty standards last year, an 8 seed that lost in the second round. But it's funny how things work, Matthew. UConn, no one, you and I never thought this was a bad basketball team by any stretch, but they were just really scraping by the skin of their teeth against some not so good teams in a down year for the Big East, and it led you to some question marks heading into the big dance.
And perhaps this is another reminder that when you get in to conference play, no matter what the conference is, and no matter how the rest of the country looks at the conference, whether it's a down year for a conference, a good year, or a great year, perhaps this is a reminder to not always put all your eggs in the conference play basket. It's not all the Easter eggs in the conference play basket. We're one day short of that, of course. Everyone in each conference knows each other so well. And when you're in UConn's shoes, having been the dominant power in that conference and nationally for such a long time now, they were getting everyone's best shot every single night against teams that knew them so well. So perhaps this is another reminder to once again just view how difficult conference play is. Because as you mentioned, struggling against teams like Seton Hall and Georgetown and Marquette and Butler, and you'd think, my goodness, these are not good teams that they're struggling to beat and sometimes not beating at all. But that's what conference play can be in this sport.
UConn did have some big wins in non-conference, beating the likes of BYU, Illinois, Kansas, and Florida. Their losses were by 4 to Arizona, 9 to St. John's, 7 to Creighton, and 6 to Marquette in the regular season. After beating Xavier and Georgetown, they lost by 20 in the Big East Championship to St. John's. And the first round was the most convincing win. They beat Furman by 11. Terrace Reed Jr. really saved him on that instance. Then a 16-point win over UCLA. Then against Michigan State looked like they were going to win Michigan style by like 25 TKO, but the Spartans came back. UConn won by 4. Then the thrilling comeback in the Elite Eight from 19 down, the shot heard round the world by Braylon Mullins to beat Duke, and then a hard-fought 9-point win against Illinois is how they've gotten here. They haven't been as pretty as Michigan, but the results have been all the same for this UConn team in their 5 wins.
Not as pretty, but just as gritty, and that's how Dan Hurley would want it.
Indeed, it absolutely would. JT is with us in the producer's chair again tonight. And JT, you told us this off air. Why don't you tell the audience, who do you think's going to win this game?
I will await someone putting me on the They Already Knew account. Because I am telling you right now, UConn are winning the national championship of 2025 to 2026. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm calling it that. Put me on the They Already Knew Twitter account. I can't wait.
So a vote for the Huskies for JT. Well, UConn
Indeed.
And Michigan, it is a quite interesting national championship. Connecticut going for remarkably a 7th national championship win. And they would pass the University of North Carolina, and they would pull to within 1 of the University of Kentucky
I mean,
for
come
second
on.
all time.
I mean, come
if
on.
they win this.
Come
That
on.
is just.
It's
utterly.
They barely won a championship in the last century. They did that by 1 year, and now they passed Duke, and now they're trying to pass North Carolina, draw closer to. Come on. It's crazy.
UCLA better start looking over their back. Perhaps, who knows? Well, it is going to be an interesting one. We will be back all throughout the night. We'll be giving our commentary at halftime. We'll give a special shout out to all the other teams that won tournaments on the men's basketball side, just as I did yesterday on the women's championship side. It is a much changing world in college athletics. How much so? Only one starter in tonight's game started his collegiate career at the University of Michigan. That's Terrace Reed Jr., who starts for Connecticut. Now, you don't have to look it up, because we already did. The countdown's at 0, and it's my pleasure to hand it off to a man who will be calling a game on a platform or something for the 9th time already. Walnut Cove, North Carolina's Matthew Owens. The championship floor is yours one more time. Let's have a banger of an ending in this great sport and great tournament. Take it away, my friend. I know you're going to have a great call.
Thanks, Seth, and thanks, JT. And we are so excited to be here on college basketball's biggest night. It is Championship Monday once again, and we are so ready to see how the madness ends. The starting lineups for UConn and Dan Hurley. It's Solo Ball, whose status in this game was up in the air after he was seen in a walking boot after the semifinal game Saturday night. Silas Demery, who has been up and down in this tournament, filled the stat sheet, though, on Saturday with 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Terrace Reed's been a monster in the tournament. He's in the front court with Alex Caraban playing his 151st game in a UConn uniform, and Braylon Mullins, the freshman from nearby Greenfield, Indiana. Michigan is the higher seed in their home whites, blue numbers, maize trim. Elliot Cadeau, tough shooting night on Saturday, but he was terrific, along with Nabari Burnett in the lineup with Merez Johnson, All-American Yaxel Lindeborg, and the 7'3" Spaniard Adai Mara. Those 10 get the honor of starting a national championship game, which begins now. The madness is set to end in Indy. UConn controls the opening tip. The Huskies, as the lower seed, wears navy blue uniforms with white numbers and dark red trim. Ball in the hands of Braylon Mullins before he hands off for Solo Ball. Ball runs the point, swings it up the middle. Caravan feeds it on the perimeter. Reed down with a dribble, then another. He'll roam to the inside on Mara, flip it up right-handed, off the heel, no good. Mara, volleyball tap the rebound into the arms of Cadeau, the point guard that transferred in from the University of North Carolina. Michigan on offense for the first time, 90 points plus in all 5 of their tournament games. First team to ever do that, and Mara shoots a pass inside to Johnson underneath. He missed the shot from in tight. Battle for the rebound was a fierce one, and it popcorns out of bounds last off blue and white. It will stay with Michigan. The Wolverines, who won yet another national semifinal game. They rarely lose those games. It was their 8th win in a Final Four semifinal game. Inbound to the top of the circle. Mara hands off for Cadeau. Just 5 of 17 from the field Saturday night in the romp over Arizona. Swings it right. Lindeborg gets it inside. Mara, mid-post right, trying to bat down Reed. This is the matchup of the night, and Mara puts it up on the rim. It spins out. And the rebound collected by Reed, who has been a rebounding machine in this tournament, averaging over 13 rebounds a game in March Madness. Solo ball, top of the key. Swings it right. Mullins, catch and fire 3. Ready to shoot for the first time tonight. This one's a brick. Off the glass, no good. Rebound scrapped off the floor by Merez Johnson Jr. of Michigan. And here come the Wolverines again. Cadeau at the top of the key. Left-handed dribble. Cuts to his left. Caravan out defending. Cadeau right-handed dribble. Turns it back up top. Mara, who did shoot a 3 against Arizona Saturday night, just his 10th of the year, gives it back for Cadeau, who launches it inside. Johnson with a catch underneath the cylinder, and he lays it up and in for the championship game's first points. 13 a game for Johnson in this tournament and nearly 8 rebounds. He's a transfer from Illinois. He hails from Riverdale, Illinois. Solo ball off left wing. One-handed dribble, slings a one-handed pass. Off right wing, Mullins into the corner. Taken by Ball. Inside Reed. Muscles inside against Mara. Hooks it up. A sky hook with the left hand. Good by Reed. His first points makes it 2-2. Another double-double for Reed on Saturday against Illinois. He had 17 and 11 on 6 of 12 shooting, averaging 21 points, 13 rebounds a game in the tournament. Cadeau off a screen, curls to the left elbow, dribbles across the lane to his right, gets to the rim and lays it up and in. Off glass with the right. Cadeau out of West Orange, New Jersey, such an important piece to this Michigan team, even more so down the stretch of the season since the season-ending ACL injury to L.J. Kaysen. They do not have a backup point guard now. Entry feed to Reed, in from the left lane line, hooks it up with the right hand, back of the rim miss. Rebound was lost by Lindeborg, but collected by Cadeau. 1 and out go the Huskies. All 3 of their 4 shots, taken by Reed in the early going. Here's Cadeau off the right elbow, try to lob inside. It was harpooned away by Caravan, who got his arms up. It's out of bounds off the ricochet. It'll stay with Michigan. Again, Michigan in home white, start blue numbers, maize trim, attacking right to left in this first half. Just about.
You sure it's not midnight blue?
It's not midnight blue tonight, thank heavens. Just about 3 minutes gone here in this first half. Yaxel Lindeborg, consensus All-American, inbounds it off the right arc. Mara turns his back to his defender Reed. Shuffles it back to Cadeau, who leans into the body of Silas Demery and muscles up a shot that he never intended on taking until he learned that he could gain contact, which is exactly what he did, and Dan Hurley looks like he's holding in a lot of words after that whistle. This will be 3 free throws for Elliot Cadeau.
Well, the one time I could justify Dan Hurley being upset, he shows nothing. Because that's a bit of a, I guess within the rules it is, but that's a bit of a cheap one if you ask me.
Cadeau will shoot 3 at the line. His first one is good. He shoots 69% from the free throw line. As mentioned, just 5 of 17 from the field Saturday against Arizona, but 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists. He didn't shoot it well, but everything else he did magnificently. Makes the second free throw. It's a 6-2 lead for Michigan. They're already out to a hot start. Mara goes to the bench to get a quick breather for Dusty May, 48-year-old from Terre Haute, Indiana, Big Ten Coach of the Year, and has been just a revelation in less than 2 full seasons, just under 2 full seasons. Cadeau hit the third free throw. He's made all 3. It's a 7-2 Michigan lead. They led 10-1 out of the gate Saturday. UConn ball with Demery, the junior out of Raleigh, North Carolina, transferred in from Georgia. Along the arc from his left to his right, he flips it into the right corner. Ball with a head fake. He drives baseline, puts up the jumper for 2, and he gets a friendly roll off the iron. The rim was nice to UConn on Saturday, and it's already been nice to him a couple of times on both ends of the floor to start this night. Michigan ball at the other end. Cadeau trying to get around a hedge from Reed. He threads a bounce pass to Johnson, who rushes his way to the inside and collides with Ball, who's called for a blocking foul. And that could have easily gone against Johnson for an offensive foul, but it doesn't. It's a blocking foul on Solo Ball. And that's already 2 fouls against UConn that could have easily, well, one could have not been called. The other one probably could have gone the other way. Inbound to Lindeborg as that foul was on the floor. Rushes to the left elbow, turns it back outside. Johnson, handoff, Cadeau, straight up 3, around the rim and out. Offensive rebound underneath. Namari Burnett's putback wouldn't go, but another putback does for Merez Johnson Jr. Michigan on the offensive glass early. They lead 9-4. Great rebounding team this Michigan club is, and they've got a great rebounding margin at that. They out-rebound their opponents by more than 9 a game. Demery again for UConn on the Final Four logo, slices to his left, gets towards the arc, puts his head down, drives inside, and his layup is rejected by Roddy Gale Jr., senior out of Niagara Falls, New York, who transferred in out of Ohio State. And that is out of bounds, and it will belong to UConn still as we get our first media timeout of the night.
I'm sorry, it's not really that funny, but it's just funny because I said that in a mocking, stupid tone, watch out, YXL, and then he has a moment like that actually makes me say it in real time. I had to get it out there. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Whether the audience wants it or not, you're going to be hearing just a little bit more of me throughout the night. I'm not going to spoil all of Matthew's fun, but, well, that's 2 fouls quickly. And something else about Michigan that I've noticed early on, very, very early, single second chance is big for Michigan. Seems like there's just a mismatch on every single possession. You kind of go bigger at some point.
Well, they do have Eric Ryba, a 7-footer, that they can cycle in for Reed at times, and they will, but he hasn't played all that much in the tournament. He played 15 minutes a game in the regular season, but he's only averaging 7 minutes a game off the bench for the tournament, and it doesn't seem as if Dan Hurley has a lot of confidence in the freshman so far in this tournament. They might need him at times tonight, not only to give Reed a breather, Seth, but to also just get a couple more inches on Mara when they battle inside, because Mara, I mean, I don't know how many times Terrace Reed at 6'11" has matched up with a guy that's 4 inches taller than him, but that's what he's got with Mara.
Absolutely. So UConn, it's like the first 4 minutes for UConn could be titled "Can't Win for Losing." You've made it a half-court game, which you need to do, but you're still struggling because the size of Michigan is just so much. It's just such a factor, and it's size mixed with athleticism that just makes them such a dangerous, dangerous team.
Well, we'll see how Dan Hurley wants to play it. We know what a great coach he is, what a great strategist he is, and we'll see if he is able to help this game remain close, because a lot of people do get the feeling that this is a Michigan runway, and they're just waiting to take off. That's what they've done so much this year and through so much of the tournament. The international feed giving us a look back at the '89 title game, which Michigan won. The worst foul that you will ever see called late in a championship deciding game. I mean, for goodness sakes.
I get it. Go ahead, JT.
That was a little bit different from Serie A highlights, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
UConn set to inbound here out of the timeout. And it's looped to the right corner for Terrace Reed Jr., who catches, feeds up top. Demery directs it to the right wing for Solo Ball. Bounce pass inside Reed, fumbled the catch, but now he regathers and starts to post up on Mara, and we get a whistle and a turnover by UConn. And it's going to Michigan again. Wolverines force 11 turnovers a game. Here comes Michigan back up the floor. A 9-4 lead here in the first 4 minutes and change. Cadeau threads a bounce pass along the arc to his left to be taken by Gale. Entry feed Mara. Left lane line. Back down on Reed. Goes left. Puts it up on the hook. Comes off the side of the rim. Rebound down to Reed. Outletted for Demery. Demery, who did not play their first-round game against Furman. He's been nursing an ankle injury, suffered in the Big East tournament, but he played his best game of the tournament on Saturday in the win over Illinois. Off right wing, it's Ball, trying to get free from Cadeau. Reed a high screen, directed in the right corner. Mullins, centered pass, back to Mullins, straight on three, misses, long rebound. Demery had it knocked out of his grasp by Lindeborg. Out of bounds, it'll stay on this end.
I promise you the last thing I'm doing is wearing a UConn shirt underneath this, but God almighty, got hit in the friggin' face.
Well, we did think the officiating at the start of the Michigan-Arizona game Saturday night was not the best. Not the reason Michigan won. But we did have some questionable decision-making from the officiating crew Saturday night in that game as well. Different crew tonight, of course. Caravan shapes an inbound pass to the top of the key for Reed, who then gave it to Demery. Dribbles left-handed to his right. Now a reversal. Caravan just 1 of 8 from the field on Saturday. Entry feed Reed, trying to carve out space against Mara and Cadeau, who came to help, and Reed lost it out of bounds. It's another UConn turnover, 2 in a row. So it'll belong to the Wolverines again. And a slow shooting start for both teams, but UConn not hitting many shots and turning it over here. They've had 9 possessions. They've only hit 2 baskets. Here's Yaxel Lindeborg for Michigan. Feeds it into the right corner. Catch and shoot 3 by McKinney. Comes up short. Rebounded by Caravan in career game 151. Launches an outlet to Ball. Comes to the middle of the floor. Takes a 3 from the top of the key, and Ball rips the cords from downtown. He's been struggling shooting the 3 in this tournament. Just 3 of 21 in the tournament from 3 before Saturday. Then he hit 3 of 7 against Illinois, and he hits one here. And a basket that UConn really needs to make a lot tonight. Jumpers from the outside. Here's Cadeau feeding it to Mara, who hands it back off. Trey McKinney, freshman from Flint. 2 hands a pass off the near wing. Lindeborg back up top. Mara, not a threat to shoot from the outside. Gives for Cadeau. Big crowd around him. Mara sets a screen. Cadeau out of the right corner. He'll drive baseline. Underneath. Comes back around to the opposite side of the rim. Lays it up and in, plus the foul. And a chance at a 3-point play for number 3, Elliot Cadeau. North Carolina transfer. Ugh, he got away with a push-off on Demery before that. I'm not going to have a magnifying glass out all night, but goodness. Some things going against UConn here early. So Cadeau will go to the line. He's got 7 of their first 11 points, and that foul on Demery is his second. Michigan, the deeper of the 2 teams. UConn can ill afford to get into foul trouble. Cadeau's and 1 free throw misses too strong. Terrace Reed is there to grab the rebound double-handed. Jaden Ross out of Bristow, Virginia, into the game for the first time, and he loses the ball as he approaches the timing line. He's got to get it over quickly, and he just does. Dusty May looking at the official on the far side. He wanted a 10-second call, didn't get it. Malachi Smith swings it into the short corner on the right side. Ball takes the jumper around the rim, no. Battle for the rebound, and a foul going against UConn. This is on Reed. And talking about UConn can ill afford to get into foul trouble, Reed is the guy particularly who cannot get into any foul trouble tonight. As mentioned, Eric Ryba at 7-1 is their backup for Reed, who's only averaged about 7 minutes a game off the bench, but that's him coming in now. Number 12, Eric Ryba, just reported to the scores table.
Now we're hitting about lukewarm on the Hurley-Richter scale here.
That's 4 fouls in 7 minutes against UConn. Here's Michigan into the front court to our left, handled by Lindeborg, who has not scored. Right-handed hip-high dribble. Dealing with a couple of injuries suffered Saturday night. Angles a pass to McKinney on the outside. Entry feed Mara. Tries to back his way in against Ryba, who he almost dwarfs, but he can't hit the left-hander in tight. Rebound taken away by UConn. Smith into the front court. Mara has not scored. He had a career-high 26 Saturday night against Arizona. Malachi Smith, senior from the Bronx. Dayton transfer. He spent 4 seasons at Dayton. Right-handed knee-high dribble. Feeds Caravan up top. Couldn't get any space for Mara to shoot, so he feeds it right for Ball. Now it's back to Caravan. Head fake, slashes left, takes the three and knocks it down, and that's what they need from Caravan tonight. Again, 1 of 8 from the field. On Saturday night was Caravan. 7 of those takes were from 3. Cadeau into the front court, centered for Lindeborg. Dives it inside. Mara towards the rim, and he got hit along the arm before the shot. Foul is called, and actually, no, now they're going to say it was in the act of shooting. So Mara is going to go to the line, and that foul is on Ball. So another UConn foul, and Michigan already is creeping towards the bonus. That's their 5th team foul. It's the 2nd on Ball, so both of the starting guards, and now they're going to see, I had it right the first time. It was not in the act of shooting. I knew what I was talking about. They inbound from underneath. Cadeau out to Johnson. Back for Cadeau. Straight on 3. Missed it off the front of the rim. Rebound UConn. And they rip it and run it with Ross going to the rim in transition. And he's fouled from behind by Cadeau. Now UConn really needs to get out and run anytime they have a chance tonight to get ahead of this Michigan defense. And Jaden Ross had the right idea right there to rip it and run it. And Cadeau is called for the foul in transition, which leads to a timeout. The point I was making before that, though, both starting guards now for UConn, Demery and Ball, each with 2 fouls before we've even reached the midway point of the first half. Timeout on the floor, and 11-10. Michigan lead in this national championship game. And those 2 fouls early on Ball and Demery are going to be huge. And how about we get the thoughts of Pierre Moss about that and more? Pierre is with us. Hello, Pierre.
Oh, fellas, that's the problem for UConn. I mean, both your starting guards are 2 fouls. Of course, that means they're 1 away from 3 fouls, which would certainly put them out for the rest of the first half if that happens. But again, you said it, Matthew, on the call. They need Caravan tonight. They need him to be what he was in the first 3 games of this tournament, not the guy he was in the last 2 games.
Well, we will see what UConn can work with through this early foul trouble. They do have some guards in Smith and Ross, who we've already talked about, to come in, and they are quality bench players, but this is a UConn team, Seth, that only had 10 points off the bench Saturday against Illinois.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the big thing also. A tight whistle against UConn could also affect them is the depth. We haven't talked much about it, but they're so deep. But I tell you what, UConn's holding their own against Mara in the paint so far. 0 of 3 from the floor. He's struggling a little bit, so we'll see how it works out. But yeah, the fouls, obviously UConn they cannot afford foul trouble, and that is to put it mildly. Lindeborg kind of a non-factor early.
He's been very passive. And again, dealing with a rolled ankle and an MCL sprain from Saturday. So he has been a bit passive here, and I wonder how long that might continue. I'll shut up, and you and Pierre can talk for the remainder of this timeout. Hear enough from me already.
Well, we're about ready to come back from the break, so... Pierre, happy championship night to you, and what a game we have in prospect. Either way, we're going to have a champion of some storylines. Either Michigan with a drought, ending a drought, and completing an all-time great season, or UConn cementing a dynasty.
Yes, indeed, happy championship night, indeed. Always a very emotional night, as we're going to hear one shining moment at the end of the game. Always looking forward to that, and but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Should be a good ball game between UConn and Michigan.
Oh, Pierre, you missed some shenanigans off air behind the scenes before we got started.
I
can only imagine.
I mean, what else is new with this crowd? Glad to have Pierre with us here as a part of our championship night. Of course, we've had so much of the college basketball season on this channel, or early iterations of this channel. I'm not salty, I promise. Jaden Ross at the free throw line hits the first, and of course we bring the curtain down on the season with a crescendo tonight. What a championship game here at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Ross able to hit that first free throw, so even though it feels like Michigan's got the upper hand here in the first 8 minutes, this game is tied, and Ross could put UConn in front here at the line, but he does not, as that free throw leaked off the right side of the rim. Rebound down to Trey McKinney. And the Wolverines back into the offensive end of the floor. McKinney handling the ball at the point here while Cadeau is on the floor. Johnson sets a screen. McKinney gets it to him on the roll. Johnson off the right elbow, taking on the 7-footer Ryba. Carves out space. Got Ryba to go airborne, and that is just pretty play in the post from Johnson as he scores, and he's got nearly half of Michigan's first 13 points. Malachi Smith here for UConn. 16 minutes a game off the bench for the season. Might have to play some more minutes tonight with those early fouls on Ball and Demery. Gives it up for Caravan. Now it's back for Smith. Outside right, a jab step at Cadeau. Ryba out to set a screen. Smith turns the corner in the lane. Pulls up on the left lane line, and his jumper bounces twice off the rim and drops in. I tell you what, I don't know what UConn did on the build-up to the Final Four, or what kind of rims they practice with, but they're getting great bounces and rolls on the rims here in Indy. Michigan on offense. Johnson again posting up Ryba, working his way inside, and he's called for a travel. This time Ryba, the freshman from Germany, stood his ground defensively. Forces the turnover there for a Michigan team where turnovers can become a bit of an issue. They can get sloppy with it the faster they go, which is, of course, the pace they want to play. Of course, UConn didn't commit a single turnover in the first half Saturday against Illinois. Here come the Huskies. Into the front court again with Mullins, trading it off for Ryba, and then back up top it's Smith. Smith, a 4-year player at Dayton, off to Caravan, working the right side of the floor. Ryba back out, sets a screen as he gives it up for Smith, who backpedals, and off the step back takes a three, missed it well short and right, but he gets his own miss back, gets underneath, try to cut it back to Ryba. It was deflected. Smith, a recovery into the left corner, finds Caravan, and Caravan bags a three, which is what he is so well known for doing in his 150 games in a UConn uniform. Michigan back the other way quickly. Missed shot inside by Lindeborg, cleaned up and put back in by Johnson. Merez Johnson Jr. with 8 of Michigan's first 15. Midway through the first half, in the first 10 minutes, nearly a stalemate, but it has been won by UConn, in front by a point. The decided underdogs in this championship game tonight, but a team that knows big stages and how to win on them. Ryba on the perimeter, dribbles right, tried to give it up to Caravan. It went through his hands, stolen by Johnson, picked up by Cadeau. Into the front court is Elliott Cadeau as he sets the Michigan offense one more time. Switches hands on the dribble, threads a bounce pass. Johnson rolling, gives it up. Will Cheddar cuts up right baseline, back outside. McKinney lines up a right wing three, it misses. Leaping his way to the loose ball on the rebound, Caravan, and he's able to scorch an outlet pass ahead for Malachi Johnson. Johnson calls off a Mullins screen from the left of the Final Four logo and drifts to his right. Comes back on the near side and hands it off for Jaden Ross. Ross on a left-handed dribble with Lindeborg defending. Ryba ended up on the deck away from the play they play on. Ball into the hands of Smith. 10 on the timer as he takes a high screen. Ryba cuts to his right. Nothing going inside right now for UConn, and they've got to get going as Smith splits through 2 defenders beautifully and butter knifes his way to the rim to lay it in with the right hand. UConn extends their lead. It's 18-15 Michigan early offense. Entry feed Lindeborg, knocked away by Ross. Lindeborg a recovery in the near left corner, tries to drive his way up the baseline. He's hip checked by Ross. Foul is called on the floor. It's the 6th team foul to go against the Huskies. Oh, that was a gorgeous that was a possession there by UConn that went absolutely nowhere. A lot of movement from the players without the ball, but the ball barely moved on that trip until Malachi Smith said enough of the window work, and he just went to work on the inside and scored magnificently. Malachi Smith and Jaden Ross may play a big part in this game depending on how well they can play with Ball and Demery and their foul trouble. Off the inbound, Lindeborg, a step back left wing three wouldn't go. We've got a whistle and a foul going for the rebound. It's against UConn again, and there is their 7th team foul, and that will put Michigan in the bonus. So with 8:48 to go in this first half, Michigan makes it to the bonus. Remember how early Illinois got into the bonus against UConn in the first half on Saturday? It was around this time. Now, hold on. Have they reversed the call? They're giving the ball to UConn for them to inbound, and they've actually handed a foul to Michigan now. So UConn stays on 6 fouls. Michigan goes to 3. So it's UConn ball, and up the floor they come to our right. Caravan gives it up top. Reed handles on the perimeter, scans, shot from the outside, misses. Reed offensive rebound, triggered back into the right corner. 3 ups, Jalen Stewart, no. Rebound, ripped away on a carom. Will Cheddar out of Stewartville, Minnesota. Ahead into the front court for Trey McKinney. Cuts to his left, downhill, drive, down the lane. Gets to the rim, fade away, glass and rim miss. Morris tap back, wouldn't go. He's 0 for 4 from the field. UConn on the rebound, nearly turned it over in transition, but it's lassoed in by Smith. Smith, a right-handed hard dribble. In his face defensively is Namari Burnett. Caravan comes over to fade on a screen. Smith still has it. Cheddar switches on to him defensively. Might be a mismatch for Smith. Bounce pass outside left. Taken by Reed. Puts his head down. Drives at Mara. Fakes right. Fakes left. Goes back right. Hesitates. Goes up. Mara rejects it. Loose ball into the hands of McKinney. Left-handed dribble as he rifles it into the front court. Trey McKinney picked up by Mullins. Mara screen. McKinney out to his right. Jump stop. Inside feed. Mara collapses to the rim and gets his first basket. 7 feet plus tall Spaniard drives to the basket and scores. His first field goal, his first points. Had a career-high 26 Saturday. Malachi Smith back into the front court here for UConn. Bounce pass to his left on the perimeter taken by Caravan. Cheddar, who has great energy, provides a boost off the bench for this team, is the one defending. Given to Reed, outside right, shoveled on back. Jalen Stewart slices inside, just inside the right elbow. Floater would not go, but he's able to find the loose ball off the floor, nearly stolen back by Mara. Stewart ends up on the deck to try to save it. Squirts it back to the outside. Smith fakes a 3, then backpedals, resets. Now we get a whistle. Clock freezes with 7 minutes to go in the first half, and we've got a foul away from the ball. It's on Michigan. Timeout on the floor. 18-17 lead for UConn, and Seth, I'll say it again, when you're trying to complete an upset, especially in the tournament, especially when a lot of people consider it a big upset if it happens, you just got to win increments. You got to win at the under 16, win the under 12, win the under 8, and UConn, by a point, has won at the under 8.
They have. They absolutely have. And Michigan, I don't think it's Lindeborg either. They look passive on these threes. They're coming up tight and pulling short on these three-point attempts. Allow me to use the old high school coach reference I used. If I'm Dusty, I'm just telling him, you got to just relax and play ball.
Isn't it interesting? 2 years ago, UConn and Purdue played for the national championship, and you might remember, you'll likely remember, that was the Purdue team with Mount Zach Edey. And it was in that game where Dan Hurley basically said, we're going to let Edey eat. And Edey's going to score and score and score. But we're going to take everyone else away. Edey had 37 points in that game. The rest of the Boilermakers combined had 23. And UConn won that game handily. Tonight, it would seem, Seth, they're not playing that kind of game with Lindeborg. They are looking to absolute handcuff Lindeborg and let everyone else get theirs if they can.
Hard to disagree with that logic.
This is what makes UConn such a difficult team to prepare for, especially in a tournament atmosphere. Just one day to prepare for them. Of course, it pretty much went viral, didn't it, Seth? Saturday night of Dusty May scouting the first national semifinal. I don't think anyone had ever seen a coach playing in the second game on Saturday scout the first game. That was a new one for everyone.
Yeah. Be on the safe side, I suppose.
But it's 18-17 UConn here with 7 minutes to go in the first half. So through some foul trouble, they found a way to be ahead here at this tentpole mark of the game. And as Seth mentioned, he is right. Michigan just being a bit passive, not as aggressive as we normally see them. And as we saw them Saturday night, they came out of the huddle And off the jump, Saturday night they were up 10-1 and 16-5. Tonight, just 7 of 19 from the field. And we might need JT to do some magic here. If you're listening behind the scenes, JT, we've got an official at the monitor. And I'm not sure for what purpose here. And we don't want to play any audio, of course. So we'll just have JT.
Not a bad list Dan Hurley can join with a win tonight, is it?
No. So we'll just have JT try to communicate what he can for us here. But we do have an official at the monitor. And I have not been... I don't have anything here on my screen saying that there was a challenge or an appeal for anything. Nonetheless, it looks like we're just about ready for play to restart. So absolutely no idea why they were at the monitor. But Caravan restarts play on a looped pass, far side front court into the back court, met by Malachi Smith. UConn gets on offense. Reed left side of the floor, shovels it into the corner. Mullins turns the corner, drives his way inside, running floater missed off the back of the rim. Rebound taken by Burnett. Mullins tried to reach in and grab it away and even create a tie-up, but they've called a foul on Mullins, and Michigan is in the bonus now, so this will be free throws for Michigan. Mullins... Speaking of being aggressive right there to try to tie up Burnett, and instead he's called for a foul. Hurley's over there just holding each of his hands down.
He is trying like all hell not to explode.
It really is.
It's almost as hilarious as watching his crash outs, to be perfectly honest.
It'll be 1-1 at the line for Amari Burnett from Chicago. Played in his hometown in the regional games against Alabama and Tennessee. Well-traveled Amari Burnett makes the first free throw. He started his collegiate career at Texas Tech, then went to Alabama. This is his third season at Michigan. One more at the line for Burnett. Will try to give Michigan the lead as he spins the ball off the floor into his hands. Now spins it in his hands. Deep bend of the knees. Looks at the basket. Takes a deep breath. Elevates with the shot and scores. Michigan leads 19-18. Under 7 minutes to go first half here. National championship game in Indianapolis. Michigan picking up full court and trapping Malachi Smith in the backcourt, but they do break the press. Ahead for Mullins. Now Stewart across off the left-hand side for Smith. Backpedaling and resetting the offense with Merez Johnson Jr. in front of him defensively. Along the midcourt logo from left to right goes Smith to set the offense. Caravan sets a screen. He's fading along to the left corner trying to get open off the screen. He does. They get it to him left elbow. Up with a floater, blocked by Mara. Foul first, however, and it's against Michigan, and it's against Cadeau, and that is the fourth team foul to go against the Wolverines. Cadeau was behind Caravan and was trying to recover and got him on the left arm. So Cadeau called for that foul, and that's his second. Got a lot of important backcourt players on both teams now with 2 fouls as Caravan comes in and hits the first free throw. So that's 2 fouls for Cadeau of Michigan, 2 each on Demery and Ball of UConn. Caravan from Southborough, Massachusetts, trying to win his third national championship. He makes the second free throw. If UConn were to win this game, Caravan will become the first non-UCLA player to ever win 3 men's college basketball national championships. The international feed cut away before we could see what happened. There's a whistle on a Lindeborg drive. A foul has been called on UConn. It's against Jalen Stewart, and it'll be Lindeborg, who will go to the free throw line. Here for the Wolverines. He has not scored tonight. Averages 15 points per game. That leads the Michigan team. Big Ten Player of the Year. Had 11 points in 14 minutes Saturday. Dealt with a couple of injuries. But boy, did he grind through it. Front into the 1-and-1. Irons in, and we're tied at 20. Lindeborg's first point. Started his collegiate career at Arizona Western College. Then went to the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Spent the last 2 seasons there. And then what a diamond in the rough he has turned out to be at Michigan. Knocks down The second free throw. His mother, who was recently diagnosed with cancer, she's been at so many of his games this year. Off the inbound, UConn nearly lost it through the Michigan press, and they've got to get it into the front court quickly. Smith just about does. Feeds the right corner then, and Mullins fires away and pours in a three. How about that? They just about didn't break the press in time, but instead they get a good look at a three from Mullins, who's back home again in Indiana, and he hits his first three of the night after he made 4 on Saturday at the other end. Quick trigger, right wing three, missed by Burnett. Rebound scrapped away by UConn. Here come the Huskies looking to extend their lead, as you see, which sits at 2. Here's Mullins, a future star in this sport if he stays at UConn, of course. A lot of people saying he's worked himself into a first-round draft pick in this tournament. We'll see if he does stay. If he does, he's going to be a star over the next year plus. Smith stumbles and staggers his way to the right elbow. 2 Wolverine defenders try to rip it away. They can't. Centered outside. Reed a straight-on three. Clatters off the cup. No good. Mullins comes parachuting in for an offensive rebound. Reverses back to the left corner. Flips it inside. Reed through traffic, floats it up around the rim, and it leaks off the left, no good. Burnett the rebound and outlet. Lindeborg turns on the accelerator, gets going downhill, then he falls down. UConn bodies around him trying to tie him up. Reed does. It's a tie-up. Possession arrow will keep it with Michigan. Well, that's the first time Lindeborg has gotten the ball at any point tonight, and he's taken off. And that's so often what he and this team does, is just rip it and run. They haven't been able to do that tonight, whether it's because they've chosen not to or UConn's not allowed them to. Inbound from underneath. Swung into the right corner. Lindeborg back to the outside. Catch and shoot three. Trey McKinney clanks off the iron. No good. Weak side rebound claimed by Gale, and he got fouled, and it's another UConn foul, and it's on another backcourt guy. Malachi Smith picks up his first. Free throws coming for Michigan with 5 to go in the half. Roddy Gale Jr., according to some people, did the unthinkable, transferring from Ohio State to Michigan. It's a choice. Played 71 games as a Buckeye. 1-1 at the line, and he sinks the first. Seth Eaves has a thought about that. I know he does. This is his second season as a Wolverine.
You talking about Roddy Gale going to transferring?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just some transfers that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Second free throw is good. 23-23. Again, UConn trying to break the Michigan press. Mullins gets it ahead into the front court for Ross, who plays it back to a trailing Smith. Boy, Smith and Ross playing some big-time minutes for Dan Hurley in this first half. And coming through, Smith centers Caravan. Couldn't get free for 3. Instead, back to Smith. Dribble drive to the inside. Back out. Mullins, top of the circle. Pulls up. 20-foot jumper. Misses off the heel. Long rebound back to Smith. Triggers it into the right corner. Caravan slips it inside. Reed, left-handed hook blocked by Mara. It's out of bounds. Are they going to count that basket? Was it on its way down? They are. Basket is going to count. They say it was on its way down, that hook shot from Reed, by the time Mara blocked it. It's a very crucial goaltending call against Mara on a shot very much like that late in the game Michigan played in Washington, D.C. against Duke back in February. So Reed is credited with his second basket. He's got just 4 points. Reed and Lindeborg, 2 superstars on these teams, limited offensively in this first half. Michigan on offense. Mara inside, delivers it down low. Gale missed the layup underneath. The Huskies were all over it defensively, and they've got the rebound. Malachi Smith into the front court for Connecticut. Slices from right to left along the perimeter. Gale picks him up 30 feet from the basket. Hard dribble by Smith. Feeds the right elbow. Reed from the right of the lane. Pins it back outside. He sets a screen for Smith. Oh, and they call Reed for an illegal screen, and that'll be a foul on Reed, his second. Illegal screen set by Terrace Reed. And more foul trouble here for UConn. He joins Demery and Ball, as now 3 UConn starters have picked up a pair of personals in the first 16 minutes. Well, Seth, already the 2 fouls on Demery and Ball was huge, but a second foul on Reed is about as big as it gets.
Yeah, it's pretty big, I'd say. I just think, though, all the quote unquote struggles that UConn had, and they're still winning. I mean, right now, I think you got to be feeling pretty good if you're a UConn fan. But how many times did we say it in the pregame? How many times have we said it on and off air talking to each other this season long? Michigan, they are a different beast in the second half. So it's going to be interesting to see. These next, 3+ minutes or so, needless to say, are going to be absolutely vital. If Michigan can come out of here with a halftime lead, I think they'd be feeling pretty good about that.
I just wonder how much Michigan, they're not getting Lindeborg. It doesn't look like he's at 100%. And Cadeau isn't running a lot of offense right now. And without Lindeborg at full strength and Cadeau not running offense, doesn't feel like they're functioning at a high level right now. And I get what you're saying about if Michigan can win these last 4 minutes and take a lead into the locker room. I think as long as UConn doesn't allow a 10-12-0 run here, I think UConn's perfectly pleased with where they're at 4 minutes from locker room. They've got this game at the pace that they want it. And Michigan's only shooting 32%.
0 of 7 from 3.
And Michigan's had the major edge at the foul line, too. And they're still not leading.
Yes.
And I'm amazed. UConn not only hanging in on the glass, they've got the edge on the glass right now.
At the risk of something, at this moment, it's all coming up UConn right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think the evil genius has it going exactly the way he wants it to. And the evil plan is working right now. He's doing like that the thing that all the evil villains do with their hands, like this, and just how I'd want it to go.
The C. Montgomery Burns, excellent. I know you won't get that reference, but most people that are paying attention have watched The Simpsons and get the reference. Excellent.
25-23 UConn here, with just under 4 to go in the half. Reminder, if you're new to the channel, you like what you're seeing and mostly hearing, we are on a visual platform now, but still it's mostly about what you're hearing. Do hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So we cover all the sports that we can think of just about. And NASCAR's Cup Series returns into action this Sunday at Bristol. The Food City 500 coming your way on the channel Sunday at 3. Michigan inbounds out of the timeout. Trailing by 2. Lindeborg has it on the outside. Reverses it for Mara. Stops just outside the right elbow. Tries to shoulder his way in on Ryba, who is in for Reed. It's whipped to the outside. Up with a catch, Gale. Gets his way inside and then has it taken away by Mullins. Here comes UConn. Michigan gets back defensively. Mullins no-look pass. Left wing. Caravan steps confidently into a 3. Clatters off the cup, no good. Rebound down to the Wolverines defensively. McKinney with an outlet ahead. Lindeborg steps into a pull-up 3 around the rim and out. Mullins tapped the rebound to the outside, and we've got a whistle. Foul going against UConn. Another one, and Michigan's in the double bonus now. This is on Caravan. It'll be 2 free throws for Michigan, as UConn has committed double-digit fouls. It'll be Mara at the line. Mara's over there. Mara's got his index finger in the air in a circular motion. He wants them to challenge because he doesn't want to take the free throws. Michigan wants a review, not to see if there was a foul, but just to see who was fouled. I don't think I've ever seen that. They don't want Mara shooting the free throws. You kidding? He's 55% for the season. They want Johnson. Johnson's the one they think that was fouled, and I don't even know how they got Mara. Mara's not even close to the play. Or at least he's not close to Caravan. First off, that's not a foul on Caravan either. A lot of UConn defending from this microphone, which I was not expecting tonight.
I mean, wait for this call to get done. Yeah, check your time.
Previous players on review for hook and hold.
Oh.
Thank you. thank you, or not thank you. Oh, first of all, thank you, JT. Second of all, yeah, man, you and I coming to the fence of UConn. Check your calendars, your time, your dates for this moment in history.
I'm going to call this a hook and hold on Caravan. I didn't think initially it was a foul. The hook and hold stuff is so... It's so difficult to get a good read for. Well, we'll wait this one out. Mention about all of the sports that we cover here on the channel. Plenty of hockey coming up as we're getting the verdict. JT will tell us what it is, if they are indeed going to push this up more than just a common foul. Against Caravan, the grizzled veteran of the bunch. Wow, they're going to give him a flagrant.
Oh.
Wow, they have upgraded that to a hook and hold, and it's a flagrant 1 on Caravan.
Okay. I have returned. You have just said it, I know you have. But it is a hook and hold 11 UConn, 21 Michigan, 2 shots. Michigan will be given ball out of bounds, flagrant 1.
Wow. So, Merez
That
Johnson
was from the
Jr.
officials.
Thank you, JT. Johnson will get to shoot free throws, then Michigan will get the ball. Here's Johnson at the line, and he rattles in the first. It's a big call right there. Now here's something that I want this to happen. National championship game. I want JT to call the free throw. Come on, JT. Merez Johnson Jr. at the line here to tie the game.
Bounces the ball once, twice, bends the knees, it's up, and it is good. Off the back of the inside rim, and it is tied at 25-25.
Look at him go.
Look at him go.
Well, something, God forbid, ever that were to happen to Matthew one year, we know who the backup is.
Michigan inbounds off the 2 free throws. Mara rifles a pass to the left corner. McKinney return to Mara off left elbow, looped inside. Deep catch Lindeborg, up strong with the right hand, and he lays it in off glass. It turns into a 4-point Michigan possession, and they've got the lead at 27-25. UConn into the front court with Mullins getting a handoff from Smith. Now Ross up top. Fades it back to Smith again. Outside left. Passes right. Caravan pulls up. Deep 3. Line drive. Comes up short. Rebound taken by McKinney. Here come the Wolverines back the other way. Off that 4-point trip to take the lead. Do they have their confidence here? Lindeborg outside left. Hooks it inside. Mara rolls in. Ryba cuts him off defensively. Now Mara looks to back in on him. Spins left to the rim. Too easy as he sponges it in softly, and now Michigan on a 6-0 run. Lead 29-25, and an expected timeout taken. Use it or lose it timeout. Spent here by Dan Hurley.
Matthew, I thought UConn Caravan, as great as I thought he and they rushed that last possession. I really do.
Well, half a dozen points in less than a minute for Michigan, just to finish.
I mean,
yeah.
The last thing I want to do is, on a neutral platform, is act like I'm siding for one team and act like I'm siding against the team that I've been on the wagon for all season and haven't had any issue with other than one specific game. But, geez, if you're a UConn fan, you got to be ripping your hair out some of this officiating. I mean, it is just... Oy vey.
Just to
this is where Hurley I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine, go on.
This is where Hurley's telling them, and if you're a UConn fan that's been following the sport in general, you gotta be thinking to yourself, guys, just survive. Because if Michigan gets 4 more points, another 4 points in a heartbeat without you scoring, then oh boy.
Yeah,
now UConn's facing adversity for the first time tonight. I think we agree that first time tonight they're facing adversity.
Yeah, they got just a little danger time here, but that was a good timeout from Hurley, just to pause, regather, see how these last 2 minutes and change work out. Just to pay off that last teaser, plenty of hockey this week as the NHL regular season starts to wind down. Colorado at St. Louis tomorrow at 8 p.m. on the channel. Then Thursday at 7, Columbus at Buffalo, who's going to the playoffs, by the way. Saturday, full hockey slate on Saturday, still to be determined, but for sure, on Saturday night in prime time, guess what? It's happening again. Jarek and myself teaming up. Golden Knights Avalanche in Denver. Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be fun. And then Sunday, we'll have Penguins Capitals at 3 o'clock as Washington tries to make a push to the playoffs here. We'll also have this week Celtics and Knicks in the NBA Thursday night.
And by the way, Matthew, you know what you call that? Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Media NBA Unicorn Game. Why do you call that an NBA Unicorn Game? Because it's Seth Eaves on an Eastern Conference game.
And we'll also have NASCAR at Bristol and the Luton and Stockport on Sunday morning. So
yeah, EFL Trophy found a big week for Stockport. That was an interesting game with them in Bolton this morning. I'll tell you that right now. But congratulations to Lincoln City heading to the championship for the first time in ages.
We'll have all of that and perhaps more on the channel this week. I know my Friday night plans have been cemented as long as no one gets in the way. JT and Co. over on JBM will have the Truck Series race at Bristol.
I know Saturday. Oh, never mind. I thought you were talking about something else that had nothing to do with broadcasting with your plans, which I said I had something like that for Saturday night, going to my favorite hangout spot again. But who cares about my personal life? Let's go back to basketball.
UConn on the inbound. Out of that timeout, and Malachi Smith outside right swings it up the middle. Ball back on the floor, fires up a three, and buries it. What a huge shot that is. As Ball knocks down his second three out of the timeout. That's great offense. Ran out of the timeout right there. And a much-needed basket. Ball with a big shot. Now Michigan on offense. Left lane line. Mara on the back down. Trying to work his way in on Reed. Mara turns to his left. Goes up strong and lays it in. Another basket for Mara. Took him a long time to get into a rhythm. It's taken a long time for Michigan's offense as a whole to get into a rhythm here, but they lead by 3. UConn ball. Smith directs a bounce pass to his left. Caravan. Return for Smith. Fades it right. Ball. Return for Smith. Ball screens. Smith looking for space in the right corner. He's going to line up that 3. It's a line drive. Miss well short. Rebound on the floor. Reed scrapping for it. Gets down to grab it. Kicks right corner. Caravan catches ready to shoot. Misses off the side of the rim. Mara's there for the rebound. Gets away an outlet to Lindeborg. World feed camera. Get your camera steady. Lindeborg into the offensive end. Outside right. Swings it to the perimeter. McKinney spins in. Pulls back on the jumper. Mid-range comes up short. Rebound down to Reed. We strike the final minute of the first half. Huskies down by 3. Have it here with Smith. Jitterbug move on the outside. Directs it back to the left of the Final Four logo. In the hands of Mullins. Mullins down with a dribble on the Final Four logo here. Looks to his right. Threads it that direction for Ball with 10 to shoot. Ball back for Mullins. Slicing up left baseline. Runner. Glass and rim miss. Comes up just short. Mara the rebound. Ripping it and running at Michigan. Lindeborg strong to the rim. Lays it up. No! Oh, and a big jackhammering slam on the follow by Roddy Gale Jr. Gale flushes it down with a follow dunk. Gets the Michigan fans to rise to their feet. Under 20 seconds to go here in this first half. UConn ball threaded on a bounce pass near right side of the floor. Taken by Ball. Trying to shake the defense of McKinney. Directed left. Smith with 8 seconds and 7 left of the half. Smith at the top of the key. Bounce pass. Reed attacks the rim. Flips it up. No. McKinney gets the rebound, but we've got a whistle with 2 6/10 seconds left. And what's the whistle for? Because if it's a foul on UConn, Michigan's going to have free throws at the other end. No, it's a foul on Michigan. Lindeborg called for a foul with less than 3 on the clock in this first half. And that put back... Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you a question that would seem serious, but is actually, I think, a realistic question? Has Michigan scored outside of the paint in this game?
Not sure they have. Terrace Reed is at the free throw line. He misses the first.
Outside the paint or free throw line. Let me rephrase that.
Let's take a look here. Points in the paint for Michigan, 22 of their 33, and they've made 11 free throws. You're right. They have not scored outside the paint. 22 paint points and 11 free throws have made up their 33 points. One more at the free throw line for Reed. Michigan's going to have a halftime lead. How much will it be? As Reed takes a very deep breath at the free throw line. 60% foul shooter. Knocks down the second. He goes 1 out of 2. 33-29. 2.6 seconds left to go in this first half. Michigan will inbound, have to go length of the floor, 94 feet from our right to our left. Cadeau yet to be given the ball here, as Reed is going to be subbed out here defensively to make sure he doesn't pick up that third foul. Cadeau on the inbound. Johnson back for Cadeau, trailing, and Cadeau from midcourt heaves it up while it was contested. It comes up well short. Michigan players wanting to know where a whistle was. They thought Cadeau was fouled. Dusty May looks mystified. Eric Ryba got in the way of Cadeau, and those two collided. Honestly, no, Cadeau's trying to sell that too much. Honestly, if Cadeau doesn't try to sell it as much as he did, perhaps he does get a whistle. But he was trying to sell it too much and made it look obvious that he was trying to sell it. That's a gutsy play, though, by Ryba. Just let him take the shot. Anyway, 48-footer at the buzzer. Does not go for Cadeau. And at halftime of the national championship game, it's Michigan ahead of UConn, 33-29. In a first half where Michigan shot 37% from the field. UConn, though, was just 33%, but much as it was Saturday for UConn, it's their three-point shooting that has made the big difference in the first half. They hit 5 threes. Michigan hit none. 5 of 15 for UConn, 0 of 8 for Michigan. We'll let Seth go through more of the facts and figures and the halftime talk. Pierre Moss will join us for halftime, too, as it is halftime in the national championship game. And as you can see, Michigan ahead of UConn, holding a tenuous 4-point lead, 33-29, with 20 minutes, perhaps more, to determine the national champion of college basketball. Halftime is here. Let's go to Seth.
Well, an interesting first half, to say the least, but it is Michigan in front. And I got to tell you, as I bring Pierre Moss in here, and Matthew, obviously, if you can bring it in too, but I'll start with Pierre on this because we haven't heard from him in a while. Michigan's up 33-29 here. They're up by 4. Michigan is shooting 0 of 8 from 3. They haven't made a single shot that hasn't been either in the paint or a free throw. Michigan is up by 4 with all that. I don't know if this favors UConn or if this favors Michigan. I'm confused, so I need 2 experts to help me out. Pierre, you go first.
Personally, I think it favors UConn. Michigan's going to need the outside shot to go in order to win this game. They can't score from inside all night long. They're going to need the outside shot eventually. And UConn, they are hitting a good amount of outside shots, but they need more of that. And staying out of foul trouble would also help their chances. I like what Smith and Ross did in that first half off the bench, but they need more from Reed inside. They need more from Reed inside in order to win this game.
Matthew, what do you think?
I tend to agree with Pierre that it favors UConn. Everything about this favors UConn as far as the pace, the threes that they're hitting, the threes that Michigan aren't hitting. Everything just schematically, the way the game went, does favor UConn. But that foul trouble is hard to look past because now you've got Demery, Ball, and Reed both on 2 fouls with 20 minutes left to play, and through even all the good stuff that they did, they slowed Michigan down. They didn't let them hit a 3. All of these things, they do still trail here. So they go to halftime trailing and in foul trouble. So yeah, just everything about the game says it does favor UConn. But at what point does that begin to turn with everything else that's going on right now?
Very, very, very good point indeed. So 33-29, the lead at the half for Michigan. Well, I did this yesterday during the women's championship game. I'll do this again. I'll do this now for the men. And before I do that, once again, another congratulations to all those that won women's championships this year, including Corey Close, the UCLA Bruins that dominated and won the women's national championship yesterday. Congratulations to the West Virginia Mountaineers and Coach Ross Hodge on winning the college basketball crown. We'll see if they can use that like Nebraska and parlay that into a good season next year. Congratulations to the Auburn Tigers, a thrilling NIT championship last night, beating Tulsa. Shout out to Tulsa for a great year, and shout out to Auburn. I know they became a very polarizing team, but the reason I say shout out to Auburn is they could have done like every other team, just taken their ball and gone home, but they decided to play in the NIT, and congratulations to them for that. Congratulations to the Lions of Freed Hardeman, who won the NAIA men's championship game. They beat Langston to win that title back on March the 24th, 76-71. So the team from Tennessee get it done. Congratulations to Mary Washington's Eagles. What a finish that was yesterday in the Division III championship. The buzzer beater to beat Emory 75-73. Marcus Kahn and co. winning that one. Congratulations to Easton Bozzoli. That's a cool name, by the way. Easton Bozzoli and Gannon University, who won the Division II championship yesterday as well. Well, we are at halftime. Pierre Moss and Matthew Owens back with us. And Pierre, start with you first. Whether it be from the regular season or the tournament in general, some of the things that you look for and that jump out at you as highlights from this 2025-26 college basketball season.
The fact that other than UConn, Howard gave Michigan the best game of the tournament thus far, other than UConn, just to show how dominant Michigan has been. Just really the fact that the Big Ten got two teams in the Final Four. That's awesome for that conference for sure. And the fact that the ACC didn't manage to get a representative in this Final Four. They should have had a representative in this Final Four. But that didn't happen. Sorry, Matthew. But yeah, I mean, just those are some of the things that stood out for me in this tournament. I think my favorite buzzer beater was the Dylan Darling play for St. John's when they beat Kansas. That was awesome, and really, just the fact that UConn is in this game, considering the fact that this was a down year for the Big East.
Matthew?
I got to say, like, so often the tournament, especially the end of the tournament, but overall the tournament itself, normally defines the college basketball season, and, theoretically as it should, but...
That's why I asked the entirety of the regular season, too, because we're regular season truthers here.
Yeah, well, because really I think what defines this college basketball season is how the season started. It was the greatest non-conference slate we've ever seen in our lives. And of course, some of that melted over into February, mostly that Michigan and Duke game, but there were some others. But just, it really was the greatest non-conference slate we've seen ever in the history of this sport. And I think the further we go on in this world of portal and NIL and money dictating so much, I think we're going to get more of that, and I think this was the season that really did start it. Now, of course, you had the players' era, which people dunked on, and then it's kind of dunking on itself by taking forever to pay the teams and so on. But like, truthfully, what we saw at the start of the season with this non-conference slate, I mean, there was a game between St. John's and Alabama that, like, in most seasons would have been like a top 10 non-conference matchup, and I feel like most people forgot about it happening because there was just so much else. You had Duke and Michigan Gonzaga, and Duke and Arkansas and North Carolina, Michigan State. I just a huge tip of the cap to all the coaches for making all of those games happen. I really don't want to hear, well, they should be on more home floors. Well, yeah, in a perfect world they would. But again, money makes the world go round, and there's some there are a number of programs where they can make more money by going to a neutral court. Just give me good basketball.
I'm getting sick of that too. I mean, look, yes, having those games at home at court atmospheres would be absolutely amazing. But I'm just sitting here thinking, the alternative to a Duke Michigan February game in DC is that in December Duke plays against Campbell and Michigan plays Wright State. I think I know what games I would rather see personally. So, but we as a society have to complain about every God blessed thing. So that's just how it works. As he complains about people complaining about every God blessed thing. Both of you in agreement that Fred Hoiberg was well deserving of his Coach of the Year title?
Absolutely.
I mean,
without question.
You could have given it to 4 or 5 guys. I have no problem with Hoiberg being who got it.
For sure.
If I had voted for Player of the Year, my order would have been Boozer, Lindeborg, Acuff. Is that the correct 3, or am I wrong?
Yeah, we talked about that Saturday. That would have been my order as well.
I like it. I agree.
Regular season or tournament, or you can pick one of each if you want to, just to give the regular season some love. Start with you on this one, Matthew. Best game of the season.
Oh, Lord. Who? I honestly... Oh, gosh.
I got one that's going to surprise. I got a regular season one that might surprise you.
I think I do lean Duke and Michigan because, one, it was just the fact that it was in February, it was in D.C., the fact that we knew at that point in the season these were going to be 1 seeds, right? This is a battle of 1 seeds. This is a legit Final Four preview, possibly. This is at the brands, and with where the game was and those 2 brands in D.C., it felt like so much was on the line. I think, and then the game lived up too. I think I go with that.
My regular season answer, go back to, let me see here, gotta find the correct date here. You go first, Pierre, while I get the exact date here. Pierre, go, hit me.
I'm going to Big 12 country. The Kansas-Arizona matchup the first time around.
Oh,
that was the awesome game in the desert. That was awesome. That was definitely well worth the price of admission in that one, for sure.
Okay, you saying that actually made me change my answer in real time, because I was gonna say, and the reason I say it will surprise you is because of who won the game. My original answer was going to be February 18th, Alabama 117, Arkansas 115 in double overtime.
Wow.
Where Darius Acuff just went the heck off for 49 points.
Of course he did.
But my answer is a big, but now that I have my Big 12, my answer is also a Big 12 game, the Big 12 semifinal between Arizona and Iowa State.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was like the last 10 possessions combined ended in made baskets. I mean, it was just... And then, honestly, if you're asking me for the entire tournament, because everybody's going to say Duke and UConn, that game was not good for like 30 minutes. I want a game that was good start to finish to be the answer to the question. And so my answer, it involves Calipari's Piggies again. Arkansas and High Point.
I think a lot of people learned about High Point this year.
For sure.
And that's going to be a program that I think you hear a lot more of moving forward. They're not going to be the Cinderella that you fall in love with 1, 2, 3 years and then disappear. They have a lot going for them. By a lot,
Gonzaga, the East.
by a lot, I mean money.
Yeah.
They got a lot of money pumping into that program. So, yeah. I would like to ask JT. JT's dealing with stuff behind the
Hello.
scenes, though. I don't want to
I
distract.
just
Also,
want-
every time we say his name randomly after not hearing from him for 15 seconds, hello. Someone say my name. Hello.
I just want to go take pictures of Moon. I am back, and I have something to add. High Point definitely have got a lot of people
Oh God.
looking at them, especially after the Straight Talk Wireless 500.
Thank
God.
You. Thank you very much.
Ryan Blaney, North Point. Wow.
Oh.
Ryan Blaney, High Point, North Carolina.
He's
There
mucked,
we go.
he's mucked up the line. He's mucked up the line.
Hey, nobody. You know what that? You know what?
It
Him mucking
is
up the line, you know what that
3:03
proves?
a.m.
You know what that proves? Truly, nobody's perfect. Not even JT.
I have been up
He's
since
darn
9
close,
a.m.
but he's not quite perfect.
Now, JT, I would ask you. So, of course, we've had fun with you all season, and I'm fairly certain that it was
Don't
a
ask me a
college.
favorite nighter.
Well, no, I'm not going to ask you that. I'm fairly certain, though, it was a college basketball game that kind of started this. It was Louisville, Kentucky, that kind of started all
Yeah.
this with you, and you reading off scores and reading. So,
Michigan called the Michigan Wake Forest overtime.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, remember when this Michigan team nearly lost to Wake Forest? But JT, we've had a lot of fun doing college basketball games with you this year. You were on with us for a Duke and North Carolina, basically a buzzer beater. You've been with it. You
Yeah.
were on with us for 8 games in 2 days during the tournament, which is, yeah, that was chaos.
We've
like-
had a lot of fun. We've lost a lot of sleep.
We have, particularly you.
Indeed.
I don't think he ever sleeps to begin with, though. So is it really that big of a net loss?
So here's the question. After we've gotten to the end of the college basketball season and we're basically at the end of the NBA regular season, JT, the differences for you watching and, most importantly, scoreboarding NBA versus college.
Well, I know once I enter shot clock in the NBA land, that's going to be even more chaotic. So I have to be very focused at the moment. I don't know how focused I'll be able to be at 3 a.m. to do an NBA shot clock, but here we are.
You'll be fine.
I don't know why I thought the maths wasn't mathing for me. I was hoping to be out of here at 3 a.m., but then I realised time zones exist and summertime and stuff like that exists. And so yeah, when I thought I would be able to get off at 3, have 9 hours sleep, get up at midday, and have 7 hours prep for Fun Cup today, because, well, time zones. That is not going to happen, but all in the name of basketball.
All in the name of college basketball. That's exactly right. Have you
I gotta tell you about a cool discovery I made
Oh, what's that?
on my NCAA basketball 10 game, very old game, last college basketball video game EA
Oh.
Sports Meet.
Oh,
You'll never guess who's on there.
who's that?
None other than Flynn Clayman as part of the Troy Trojans.
Wow.
My goodness.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Wow.
Did not know that. I was just looking through the rosters or whatever, and all of a sudden I came across his name. I said, "What? Yeah, that's him." I said, "Wow."
We need a college basketball game so bad, Lord.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Hey, getting to call some of these games in championship week was cool. Getting to call GMAC and Siena to get back to the tournament, that was cool. Tennessee State breaking that long drought. Hawaii getting into the tournament. A lot of other good things happening in there, but yeah, I mean it's just been an unbelievable season. I always tell people, and I told my best friend tonight, one of my best friends tonight, I said, this is always the most bittersweet night for me because we celebrate this sport, we crown a champion, and then I realize, well, crap, there's 7 more months before we get it again. In meaningful action, because God bless, it's a good taste, but don't get me started on these people that freak out about exhibitions. Like, I remember someone saying to me, "Are you sure you want to pick Michigan to win the title?" Because they played Cincinnati was struggling with them or beat them in a scrimmage. I was like, "Oh, okay," and this doesn't count. What happened? Michigan's in the lead in the championship game with 20 minutes away from the title, and Cincinnati fired its coach. I mean, let's go here. But just an amazing year, and I'm glad that I want to save some of the other sappy stuff for the short end we have here tonight. But want to thank everybody. But any keys to the second half for both of you before we get on here?
Key to the second half for UConn. Honestly, just keep defending the 3-point line, make threes themselves, and stay out of foul trouble.
Big Mo?
Well, yeah, they got to stay out of foul trouble, but that's much easier said than done.
For sure.
When you got guys like Johnson and Morrow with all that size and muscle downstairs, I just think Michigan's got to play their game. They just got to find their times to get out in transition and find some open floor. Because, again, everything schematically and pace-wise favors UConn right now, but yet they do trail with foul trouble. So just Michigan needs to play their game. Gonna have to hit a shot eventually from outside the paint, one would think.
One would think.
Well, thanks, fellas, for halftime. With it only being one game, it's pretty much all we had to do was do reminiscing for halftime. UConn was 0 of 8 for the first half on contested shots. Michigan was 0 for anything that wasn't a free throw or a shot in the paint. Does it change in the second half? Do the Huskies cement their dynasty? Or does Michigan sing hail to the victors in a championship mode? Is it hail to the champions? Time to send it back to Walnut Cove, North Carolina's Matthew Owens. 20 more minutes left in this college basketball season. Maybe more if we get to overtime, but at least 20 more minutes. All right, Matthew, take us home.
Michigan leading at halftime of a national championship game for the 4th time in their program's history. They led Seton Hall by 5 in 1989. They had a 1-point lead at halftime against Duke in 1992. They also had a 1-point lead against Louisville in Atlanta in 2013. They, of course, went on to beat Seton Hall in 89 on the worst foul call in the history of time to decide a championship. And then lost to Louisville and Duke. Ended up losing to Duke by 20 in that game in Minneapolis in 92. And lost to Louisville in Atlanta in 2013. That 89 championship game in Seton Hall, against Seton Hall in the King Dome, the old King Dome in Seattle. Boy, we used to have really great names for these arenas. I mean, what the hell is that thing called in Phoenix? They played the women's Final Four in this past weekend. What the heck is a matchup center?
Started. Building Mortgage Arena, crypto.
The Mortgage Center, something like that. I don't know.
The Mortgage Matchup Center.
Crypto. What is it? My best Eric Cartman. That's a stupid name.
What the heck is a matchup center? Anyway, well, this matchup is back underway at the center of all stages. UConn inbounds, trailing by 4 to begin the second half of this championship game. Silas Demery starts the second half with the ball in his hands. Again, he's got 2 fouls, so too does Ball. They're both on the floor to start this half. Screen from Reed, Demery to the foul line, kicks it to Ball. Left wing 3, rises up and misses short. Off the front of the rim, Mara the rebound, and they got a leak out. Mara, full court pass ahead to Burnett, and he's fouled from behind by Ball, who picks up his 3rd foul 29 seconds into the half. Well, they let Namari Burnett leak out. Adai Mara threw a perfect... Well, he threw a dime. Oh, my goodness. He threw it with 2 hands about 80 feet perfectly into the hands of Burnett.
That's better than any throw a Michigan quarterback made this year.
Wow, no kidding. And Ball picks up his third foul. Half a minute into the second half. Burnett at the free throw line. And he hits his first, and it's times like that where you think you love a player for his intensity level and competitive nature. Maybe just give up those 2 points. Michigan near perfect at the line, and they've got a plus 8-point advantage right now from the line. Burnett's second free throw, deep bend of the knees, flick of the wrist. He makes both. Michigan's up by 6. That's their largest lead so far in this game. UConn up the floor, and it's Demery who will bring it up. Ball stays on the floor, even after picking up that third foul. Demery bounce pass off to his right. Caravan picked up his dribble 40 feet from the basket. Back for Demery. Threaded in. Bounce pass Reed in the lane. Hook shot over Mara. Well short. Reed got it back. Gobbles up the offensive rebound and scores on the putback. 35-31. Here's Elliot Cadeau, who really did not quarterback this offense as much in the first half as we're used to seeing. It was really Trey McKinney who ran the offense most of the way. Entry feed, Mara, they double. Kick to the right corner, Cadeau, touch feed, Burnett. Back around the horn, Lindeborg. Re-entry to Mara. Backs in on Reed, who's got 2 fouls. Mara lost the ball. It's free, it's loose, it's battled for, it's jousted for. It's out of bounds to UConn. It's off Merez Johnson Jr. last. That is the first turnover Michigan has had in over 12 minutes of game time. Ball will stay on the floor with the 3 fouls. Just the third turnover of the game for Dusty May's team. Demery into the front court, handoff Ball. Oh, and then he gave it to Reed up top, who threw it behind Mullins. Mullins was standing off left arc and had made a cut inside, and Reed threw it to him right as Mullins made his cut. It's out of bounds, and there's the 5th UConn turnover of the game. Empty trip there for UConn. And Michigan has it again. Lindeborg downhill a drive, stops right elbow, kicks right corner. Burnett fires up a 3. That was off the whole way. Basically threw up a curveball that hit the front of the rim and went off. Rebound down to Connecticut, and the Huskies a chance to once again capitalize on an empty trip for Michigan. Demery, high, hard dribble up top, feeds it left. Caravan could not get free from the defense of Cadeau, so it's found Reed at the top of the circle. Reed straddling the arc, down with a dribble, then another. In against Mara, floated outside. Demery, back to Reed, knocked away by Mara. Recovered by Lindeborg off his shin. Here comes Michigan. He hits Cadeau trailing, who wanted to step into a 3, then thought better of it. His return to Johnson. There's a foul going against UConn. Johnson got tangled up with Demery, and that's his third. 3 fouls now on both Ball and Demery, with better than 17 minutes left to go in this game. That's just unfortunate from Demery. Just got tangled up, but it's the right call there. And I don't know how they can make it to the finish line with those 2 on 3 fouls so early in the half. Off the inbound, Mara out of the left corner, threw up a lob to the heavens. Johnson couldn't catch it cleanly. Michigan turnover again. UConn into the front court with Smith back on the floor. Back pedals, centers, Ball, catch and fire 3 straight away. Clatters off the cup, no good. Caravan tried his best for the rebound, but Mara came away with it, snatching it out of the air. Then forwarded in transition. Lindeborg hard to the cup, no good. On the runner off glass. Rebound Caravan, outletted Smith, return for Caravan, fakes a 3, head down, couldn't get through the defense of Lindeborg and Johnson. Back for Smith, feeds right corner, Ball leaps into the lane, had it ripped out of his hands by Namari Burnett. In transition, directs it left. Johnson couldn't go to the hole. Back for Burnett, he dribbled it off his leg. Out of bounds, and Michigan only committed 3 turnovers in the first half. They've committed 3 in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
I'll tell you right now, this is reminding me of that stretch of the first half on Saturday when UConn kept missing chances, and Illinois had chances to take the lead and maybe pull away and did not do it. You're going to have to TKO this team 3 times over in this kind of a game.
Here comes Malachi Smith up the floor again. Navy blue uniforms, white numbers, dark red trim for UConn. Attacking in this second half right to left. Braylon Mullins only 3 points so far. Hasn't found his shooting touch yet. Gives it up to Smith up high. Burnett picks him up defensively. Smith a backpedal. Resets the offense. Timer at 10 as you can see. Smith feeds it right. Ball catches, slashes left. Drives up the middle. Stops foul line. Slurred back outside. Mullins catching fire. Right wing three. Comes up short. He still hasn't found the shooting touch. Cadeau's away with the defensive rebound. He's got space to attack if he wants to. He goes right at Ball. Oh, he scores plus the 4th foul on Ball. Cadeau's got a chance at a 3-point play. And that is a costly foul committed by Solomon Ball, the junior out of Leesburg, Virginia. Hasn't even gotten to the first media time out of the second half before not only did he pick up his 3rd, now he's picked up number 4. And Cadeau with just a tough finish. And that's a player in solo ball that probably knows better than to commit the 2 fouls that he has in this half. Not only has he committed 2 fouls in this half, they've been fouls that he had no business committing. Cadeau hits the and one free throw, 16 minutes 20 on the clock, and Ball's going to have to sit for a long, long time in his 113th collegiate game. A seasoned veteran with 2 really bad fouls that he just committed. Through some full court press from Michigan, UConn able to get out of it. And now we've got a whistle and a foul going against Michigan on the other end of the floor here. It's on Roddy Gale. UConn will inbound near side front court with that foul on the floor. Mullins will try to inbound here. Both teams with a sloppy start to this half. Inbound into the backcourt to be run down by Malachi Smith, who was pretty heroic in the first half. He's going to have to be that way in the second half, too. Bounce past Mullins, feeds the right corner, and then Ross tried to bounce it inside for Reed. It's stolen by Cadeau. It's 3-on-3 the other way. Cadeau to the rim, scoops it up. No. Put back by Johnson off the back of the rim. Would not fall either. Off the floor, picked up by Reed. Empty trip for Michigan. Their lead stays at 7. Here comes UConn, who's really hit a brick wall in the first 4 minutes and change of this half. Lindeborg out defending on Smith. 2-hand pass to the left wing. Caravan turns the corner. Downhill drive to the rim through traffic. Layup blocked by Gale. Recovered in the right corner. Ross back out to the wing. Caravan, rainbow 3, no. Mullins somehow secures an offensive rebound. Slithers to the rim. Lays it in off glass right-handed. It's a huge basket right there to not have yet another empty trip. Mullins with just points 4 and 5. He's 2 of 9 from the field. At the other end, Lindeborg posting up, muscles it up on a hook off the back of the rim. It bounces in, plus a foul on Reed. Number 3 on Reed. And Lindeborg with a chance at the old-fashioned 3. Lindeborg through a crowd. Mullins and Reed both all over him. And the All-American was able to jump through and gets a friendly bounce off the rim for 2, plus the harm. And now the fouls really racking up on UConn and getting them into some trouble with better than 15 minutes left. It's a 7-point game.
Well, I think you said it best. And as bad as a short end of a stick as I feel like UConn's gotten on the whistle, you are right on another thing. Solo Ball has got to know better on that 4th foul he picked up. I mean, and I'm sure Dan Hurley's going to tell him that he's got to know better because you cannot pick up a 4th foul in that situation.
Well,
how about not picking up the 3rd foul?
Yeah, the one that he committed on the 3rd was probably worse. Yeah, I mean, he both of those very ill-advised attempts.
And
can't do it. Just can't do it. Not in that championship game. Can't do it.
You guys mentioned earlier, Michigan now leads by 7, and I've still got on my screen 0% 3 points.
Yeah, they still haven't made one.
They still haven't gotten. They still haven't made one. They've had 9 attempts at it, still haven't made one.
Well, and they still haven't made a shot from outside the paint. Still.
That's what's getting me. That's what's getting me. Just imagine if they had hit some of those threes in the first half.
All 40 of their points, paint or free throw points. 26 in the paint, 14 at the line. 0 of 9 shooting from 3. Yeah, it's...
I mean, it's...
Michigan honestly is playing a C- game right now, and they find themselves ahead by 7.
Unreal.
But they are starting, it looks like, Seth, to me, they are starting to be a little bit more aggressive. Cadeau driving, Lindeborg driving. They're starting to get downhill a bit, and absolutely should. Get UConn in as much foul trouble as you can.
If I'm Michigan, I would stay with that game plan. It's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't let anybody that will tell you that. Don't change your plan because some bozo tells you you're playing, quote, unethical basketball. If it's working for you, it's working for you.
So you got 4 fouls on Ball, 3 on Demery, 3 on Reed, and still better than 15 minutes left. I just don't know. Malachi Smith and Jaden Ross played extreme minutes in that first half. They're going to have to play more minutes in this second half than they're accustomed to. Not sure if they can get to the finish line like this, UConn. Lindeborg at the line, and 1 out of the timeout is good. Largest lead for Michigan here at 41-33, and they're pressing UConn here again. Inbounded for Smith. Bounce to his left for Mullins. The return for Smith. Got to get it over the line in 3-2-1, and he just does it and turned it over. Smith lost the dribble, and the full court press of Michigan forces another UConn turnover, their 9th of the game. It landed in the hands of Hurley. That's great defense by McKinney. They've turned it over on 5 of their last 8 possessions. Cadeau triggers 3 off the heel. Mullins the rebound, a chance to get out in transition. Mullins pass ahead. Smith drives in from the left. Lefty layup is good off glass. Oh my goodness, did they ever need something like that? Just a chance to see some open floor and attack in transition. 41-35. Gale at the other end. Hooks a cross-court pass into the left corner. Scissored away by Jaden Ross. It's the first fast break points of the game from either team. Again, that would tell you that this is being played at UConn's pace, at UConn's dictation. Inbound left corner to Mara. Reed is out there on him with 3 fouls, and Mara's going to try to take advantage, and he spins off him to his left. Reed recovers. Mara had it punched away by Ross. Out of bounds, it stays with Michigan. Shot clock at 13, as you can see. I mean, again, just keep going and continue racking up these fouls, both personally on players and to get you in the bonus. Already 4 fouls. Long looping inbound pass into the backcourt. Ran down by McKinney, and McKinney brings it back up, and he'll try to drive it on Ross. Hits the break, spin, step back, jumper is pure. A 16-footer from Trey McKinney.
A field goal out of the paint.
Yeah, finally. First one from outside of the paint. Mullins into the front court, and he is hounded defensively by Gale. Dribbles left, handoff Smith. Smith swings it left. Caravan trying to get free for 3, can't. Cranks it into the left corner. Mullins can, but his 3's off the mark. Oh, what an effort by Reed to snatch the rebound. Now a reset. Mullins, left baseline drive. Up with a floater, too strong. Caravan tap follow, no. Caravan another tap follow, yes. I mean, every time it seems like Michigan is creating separation. UConn comes up with a gritty basket when they need it. They trail by 6. Cadeau dribble drive to the rim from the right, gets easily to the hole and lays it in. Cadeau's got a dozen. 45-37. Michigan finally starting to find a bit of a rhythm offensively, shooting 38% from the field. Malachi Smith blitzed with a double momentarily. Lindeborg now stays on him defensively. Forced off left wing Caravan. Entry feed taken by Reed. Left blocks, lost his balance, regains it, goes at Mara. In the restricted area, rises up, throws it off the back of the rim. No. Rebound snatch double-handed by Lindeborg. Empty trip for UConn. Michigan a chance to take a double-digit lead. Lindeborg outside right, directs traffic, left-handed dribble, puts his back to Mullins, trying to post up, kick out Cadeau. Off the head fake, up for three. Yes! Cadeau rattles in a triple, and the lead is up to 11. First three-point hit for Michigan on the night. Timeout UConn. 11-point Wolverine lead. And it's Elliot Cadeau right between the eyes. Gotta feel good for that kid. That's a young man that was ran off the premises in Chapel Hill from really stupid people sending stupid social media messages. That is just disgusting. Now he's in a place where he can grow, and he has all season, into the point guard we all knew he could one day be. Could that be an early dagger? Long, long way to go. But the lead is double digits for the first time.
Much needed time out there for UConn. They got to find a way to get this back under control somehow, some way. The foul trouble has bitten them for sure, and continue to bite them. Not only in the personal foul department, but like you said, Matthew, in the team foul department. Michigan is going to be in the bonus very quickly here if UConn continues their foul problems.
Well, this is now. Listen, I'm not going to do like a certain little person did on his last game, almost 20 years. One of his last games 20 years ago, but that three did feel big. That did feel pretty big by Elliot Cadeau. Here's a stat for you. That three also ruins a chance at this stat. The last team to win an NCAA title game without making a three-pointer, Louisville in 1986. You know why? Because the three-pointer wasn't a thing yet. That stat is now gone with that Cadeau three. I actually kind of want to see how long they would stay committed to the bid of blowing somebody out by not running through it. Look, Dan Hurley, He drew great offense out of that last time out. He's going to have to do it again.
Yeah, well, of course, the best coaches always seem to be the ones that create great out-of-bounds plays after timeouts. Bill Self has been known for it for a long, long time. John Shire certainly becoming someone out of timeouts that comes up with good plays. Hurley had one earlier, but it's not only one play needed out of the timeout here. They need a run, and they have not had a run that they've gone on all night long. Good friend Redbox is with us in the chat section. Said, been with you guys for most of this one. It's been fun. It's been at times rock'em sock'em robot stuff. But now Michigan starting to stretch their legs for the first time. Haven't won a title since 1989, but as we mentioned, since that 89 title, they've been to the title game so many times, but always finishing second to the likes of Duke and Louisville and Villanova. Of course, North Carolina in 93 as well. UConn inbounds. Mullins got it in far side front court for Demery. Demery and Reed on the floor with 3 fouls right now. Still with 4 fouls, Ball is on the bench. Reed up high, feeds for Mullins, left of the Final Four logo, hooked back up top, Demery. Demery gets a screen, curls right, shot clock winding, shoveled to Ross, up top with 5 to shoot. Ross dribbles right, there's just nowhere to go. Shoveled back out, Caravan up for 3, they need it, they don't get it, but somehow Demery does get the offensive rebound across the lane. Ross, put back blocked, but a foul called on McKinney, I think. I don't know how they're getting any offensive rebounds right now, but they really are getting some offensive rebounds. 14th of the night. And Johnson is called for the foul, not McKinney. They both came flying in, but it's called on Johnson. It'll be free throws for Jaden Ross. 71% foul shooter. I mean, this is another thing, UConn. They're not getting to the free throw line. They've only taken 5 all night. First one here from Ross is good. You know it's a team that's not going to give up. First off, their coach won't allow it. Secondly, it's not in their DNA. They trailed by a much larger deficit than this in their regional final. Ross hits both free throws, 9-point game. Now, of course, that 19-point deficit against Duke was in the first half. This is a 9-point deficit with just over 12 to go. Michigan on the inbound to McKinney. Right-handed dribble. Freshman from Flint. Last time a Big Ten team won a title. Some big Flintstones carried them to that one. McKinney from Flint playing a big part of this game. Gives it to Johnson up top at the head of the key. Spins to his left. Back for Cadeau off the pivot. Cadeau will drive it inside. Goes right to the rim. Layup blocked. Recovered by Ross. Here comes UConn. Michigan gets back defensively. And Ross pulls the trigger on a straightaway three. Comes up short. Rebound McKinney. Launched ahead in transition. Will Cheddar with a 2-on-1 to the rim. Layup, no! Rebound on the floor. Caravan pulls it away. He gets them ahead in transition for Mullins. Puts his head down. Drives in strong. Layup rejected fiercely by Johnson. I'm telling you what, go to the basket at your own risk right now. Timeout on the floor with 11:33 left. 9-point game.
I won't insult people like Pierre and that lived it and saying it's exactly like it, but that last stretch feels like about as close as we're going to get in modern times to those old 1980s Big East battles where if you went in the paint, you were a man's man.
Oh yeah, no question about it. I remember those days very well. You had to be a man's man. And oh, by the way, I wish this game had the 6-foul limit like the Big East did way back when.
We got to get that in.
Well, I think you had left us. We went on that rant very early in the second game Saturday about the two things that the men's game needs to do. I'm sorry to the purists out there in the men's game. 6 fouls, quarters. Come on, let's go.
Couldn't agree more.
I got to tell you.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm about to sell out for the 6 fouls. We're never going to make the quarters happen. I swear, the quarters are never going to happen because TV won't let it. But surely we can get to 6 fouls.
Matthew,
JT.
Are you aware that the like button is a basketball?
Yes. I didn't
Awesome.
make that happen. God knows I can't do that, but yes, it is.
What button's a basketball?
The like button on YouTube. If you like the video, it's a bouncing basketball.
Oh.
Oh,
Let me do that.
nice.
Let me do that just for funsies then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the basketball. Yay.
Should I be the one to mention? Should I be the one to mention here that you should be hitting the like button on every single one of these?
Seth, you and your big mouth. We're playing basketball. Like videos. Let me see. Some of my playlists are public because I want to share them with people, and then some are private. The like videos is private. Okay, good.
So
good.
Does that happen with every single basketball podcast?
Actually, if you go in and you like a JBM stream, it will be a rolling wheel with smoke coming out.
Are you
from
serious?
behind. Yes.
Really?
Now, is this
like
for any JVM video or is it just the live stream?
It's for any racing video. I'm sure you can go on the NASCAR channel and
Really?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I like a lot of stuff.
I have
Never noticed.
no offense. I have no interest in F1 2026 shakedown testing, but I'm going to hit like just to see. Well, I didn't get the race car. I just got a normal like.
Really? Oh. Yeah, I get it all the time because Lord knows I'll get plenty of football and basketball ones from liking Dan Patrick videos, Scott Van Pelt. Oh yeah.
How about? I did not realize that was a thing, but okay.
Yeah. 11:33 left in regulation time. UConn inbounding out of the timeout. They get it into Ross, who shovels it out to Mullins. He turns the corner in the lane and shovels it off to Reed. Back from Mullins' left corner. Entry feed Reed, trying to bat down Johnson. A rare case where Reed doesn't have Mara defending him, and he executes it perfectly. A ballerina move to his left and a soft finish on the hook. 9 points and 10 boards for Reed. Cadeau muscles his way into the front court, then goes to the rim with that same muscle at Demery, but couldn't hit the runner. UConn's got the rebound and a chance to cut into the deficit even further. Demery along the arc left to right, stops at the top of the key, middle of the floor. Defended by McKinney, drifts to his left, Mullins a screen. Demery with that high, hard dribble, feeds Caravan, who they have not come off of all night long, feeds it right. Mullins is free here, and his three swirls around the rim, misses. Demery comes flying in to try to get the offensive rebound. He and Johnson get tangled up and throw an official down into the photographer's row. And we've got a whistle of some sort here. Not sure what the call was, because the official just got tumbled over.
I think he originally called a
Watch
tie-up.
out.
Oh, yeah, this is... And Dan Hurley went right over to Silas Demery to give him a lot of praise for that effort. And that is an amazing effort for Demery, who, again, is working here with 3 fouls.
Oh, no, he didn't. I thought he was going to. I thought he gave a tie-up signal, but he did not. All right. I'm an idiot. Forget what I said. But anyway.
Well, he was trying to come up with what he was trying to do. They've given the ball to Michigan out of that. Wow. Okay, you're right, Seth. He was trying to give a tie-up. It was ruled a jump ball. Possession arrow gave it to Michigan. And they're up by 7 as they have it on offense. And Lindeborg lines up a 3 straight away, missed it way short. Johnson tapped the rebound up in the air, and coming up to claim it is Jalen Stewart in transition. He goes, and Lindeborg blocks the reverse layup. Recovered by Ross. Layup again was partially blocked. High off the glass, Johnson the rebound. Launched ahead in transition. Mara lost it. Huskies all around him. Left, right, and center. He squirts it out of his hands and into the hands of McKinney. Oh, my goodness. And McKinney off a screen, spins his way inside, goes to the rim, layup, no. Follow is good from Johnson. And you got to be a grown man to play this game. 50-41. Michigan by 9 with just north of 9 to go, and we've got a foul 50 feet away from the basket. It's called on Johnson. And Johnson, as he's done all season long, like a wrecking ball coming in, playing the Miley Cyrus music to get the offensive rebound and stick back. Here comes Connecticut up the floor. That last foul on Johnson was his 3rd. Demery dribbles it up. Caravan sets a high screen. Demery out to his left. Feeds it that way in the corner. Ross, entry feed Reed. He's got Mara back on him. Reed down with a dribble, then another on the left block. Now he'll come to the outside. Feed it. Demery off the head fake. Drives the closeout by Lindeborg. Floater, no. Rebound ripped away. Gale trying to tie up. Gale was Reed. He does. Possession arrow this time. We'll give it to UConn. So UConn will keep it on the arrow. I'm telling you what, this old school kind of basketball right here. UConn to inbound it from underneath the basket to our left. Demery looking to get it in. He looks to his left. He bounces it underneath. Mullins goes up, has it blocked by Johnson. Johnson comes away with the ball ahead in transition. McKinney feeds Lindeborg right wing 3. Off the heel. Offensive rebound snatched by Michigan. Lindeborg keeps it alive. Entry feed. Johnson a back down. Wriggles inside. Stripped away by Caravan. Caravan the other way. Motors down the lane to the basket. Layup is good. If you can't enjoy this basketball, I don't know why you can't. This is good stuff. Muscular stuff going on right now. Top of the key is Gale. Gives it up. Mara. Quarterbacks it to his right. Johnson on the wing. Behind the screen. Takes the 3 and airballs it. Out of bounds, untouched to Connecticut.
Yeah, he's not 100%.
He's not. And remember, the injuries were ankle and knee. So that would affect his jump shooting, and it clearly has. I don't know how Caravan finished that. Good gracious. He's got 12. 7-point game. Lindeborg to the bench to get a breather and maybe to clear his mind. Does look to be frustrated. Will Cheddar's right there. to encourage the All-American. UConn to inbound. Pressure in the backcourt from Michigan. It's in cleanly from Stewart to Demery. Demery across the timing line, into the front court to the left. McKinney picks him up defensively. He's right nose to nose with him. Handoff Caravan, fed back Demery along the arc to his right. Gale will not leave Demery, who shoots a pass to the top of the circle for Reed. The return for Demery. Dribble drive, downhill to the rim, and from a tight angle, squeezes it in off glass. And all of a sudden, UConn's within 5, and Husky fans get to their feet. First points of the night for Demery, who had 7 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists on Saturday. Early offense here from Gale. Corkscrews inside. Layup partially blocked by Caravan. You got to appreciate good defense. Oh, you got to appreciate it. Demery into the front court. They could make this a one-possession game somehow here. Demery hands it for Caravan, around a screen, try to get it in for Reed. It was knocked away, stolen by Gale. Numbers for Michigan, 3-on-2. Gale with a lob. Mora with a flush, flying over the top of Lucas Oil Stadium. That ball was higher in the air than a Peyton Manning Hail Mary, and Mara somehow caught it and dunked it down in the house that Peyton built. Demery at the other end off left arc. He is crowded defensively by Trey McKinney, reverses it off left wing. Caravan, good head fake, open, look at a three. Clanks off the iron, no good. Trying to save it from going out of bounds on the near corner. Stewart could not. It's out to Michigan. Timeout on the floor. 7-point lead with about 7 to go.
I'm going to take over for 5 minutes because you need a breath and a drink of water. Pierre Matthews said it right. If you can't appreciate the defense in this game and the effort that both these teams are giving right now, I can't help you. This is Danny Hurley looks like he just is constipated as all get out. He's on the toilet right now. But anyway, this is a man's man. You gotta be a man's man to play in this game.
No doubt. The defense is crazy. The physicality is crazy, and really what I can appreciate. The officials are letting these guys play. They're letting these guys play, and this is exactly what a national championship game should be. Let the players decide it. That's how it should be, and I hope this continues for the rest of this game.
Hope so too. It is an old school game. Listen, I said earlier, when you're to TKO UConn, you got to have a doctor on site to make sure they're unconscious to knock these guys out. And they're not going away. And you have to know that's how it's going to work, with UConn. But that dunk was big. And now UConn needs another run here. They absolutely need another run here, or else it's going to do there. More from the stat department. Michigan with 42 blocked shots in this tournament, tied for the 4th most since at least 1986. Here's a good omen, Michigan fans, to maybe ease your nerves. The other 3 that are above them all won the championship. Florida in 2006 is 3rd with 44. And then Kentucky holds spots 1 and 2 in this department. They had 45 blocks in 2012, and the 1998 team had 48 blocks. That is the most all time. But UConn not going away. By the way, failed to mention this one as well. And Matthew, I don't think he referenced it. I did send it to him, but I will add to it here just to be sure. UConn is staring this down. Only 5 times has a team won the championship game after being down by 4 more at halftime. Loyola in 63 was down 8 against Cincinnati. The 76 Indiana team is being honored tonight. Happy 50th anniversary, was down 6. Kentucky in 98 was down 10 to Utah. Villanova was down 5 in 2016. And then, of course, Kansas just hard to. How is that Kansas-North Carolina game 4 years ago already? Good God. 4 years ago, they were down 15. That's the record. Michigan was up by more than 4 at the half. They're up by 7 now, Matthew Owens. The Huskies have another run in them.
Gonna have to hit some threes to finish this game on the right end of it. They've missed their last 11 from 3, and they're now 5 of 24 from beyond the arc in this game. Had the hot hand late against Duke from 3 after they couldn't make one to save their lives for most of that game, and then they hit them all game long, well, all first 25 minutes long against Illinois. Michigan inbounds out of the timeout, and Cadeau throws up a wild lob. Not even Mara can catch that. Wembanyama couldn't. It's out of bounds to UConn. I don't know if
Did I just hear an alien mention?
I don't think if Di Mara was standing on the 4th step of a ladder, he could catch that. That was way up and out of here. The astronauts on the moon had a better chance at it. Not on the moon, around the moon. Silas Demery into the front court here for UConn. They trail by 7. Can they take advantage of the empty trip? Demery scans, he probes, he bounces it inside. Reed had it punched away by Mara, but that's called a foul. Mara on a reach. Neither team in the bonus here, though. That's the 5th team foul on Michigan. Pierre was right when he said they're letting them play a lot more in this second half than they did in the first. Inbound from underneath, Demery. 4th foul on Michigan, by the way, not 5th. My mistake on that. Neither team in the bonus. As you can see, bottom of your screen, Demery inbounded it to Reed out of the near left corner. Back for Demery, swings it for Mullins. Entry feed for Reed, backs in on Mara, goes left, flips it up wildly. It was off the mark, and the rebound down to Michigan. McKinney brings it up, motors through, zigzags to the basket, and his driver misses, but he draws a foul, and that is on Stewart, the junior from Seattle. And I wonder, real quick here, because we're about to have free throws, Pierre, real quick, I just want to ask you how long, well, I don't even have to ask you now, Pierre. I was just about to ask, if you're Dan Hurley, how long until you bring Ball back in with those 4? But that question answered. Dan Hurley's reading my mind.
Question answer really quickly, too.
Yeah. McKinney at the free throw line. Dan Hurley might be reading my mind, but I don't want to read his. First free throw good. And Ball is back in with those 4 fouls. And he has got to play incredibly intelligently here, certainly for the next 4 minutes. If he picks up his 5th foul with, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to go, if he picks up his 5th that deep, fine. But for the next 4 minutes of game time, he has to be very intelligent. Pick his battles. McKinney hits both free throws. The lead is 9. 6.5 left. Mullins the inbound, again through some pressure. It comes to Demery. And Demery brings it up with Lindeborg back on the floor and in his hip pocket defensively. Demery slashes left, now gets a switch. Burnett on him. Handoff for Ball. Can he come off the bench and be an instant conductor of the offense? He shoots a 3 here, slides off the rim. Offensive rebound, Mullins. Back out. Caravan, head fake. He'll drive his way inside. Banks it up right-handed. No, but a foul called. Foul is on Lindeborg. And Caravan will go to the line. 151st and final game in college and in a UConn uniform for Caravan. And he is going out by just trying to will his team to another title. He's not getting much freedom on the outside to shoot threes, but he is putting it on the deck and driving into the meat grinder that is the Michigan front court. Oh, big free throw miss there, though. Got to make your fouls. And UConn hasn't had many chances at the foul line tonight. That's a miss there. Could be crucial. Ball to the bench quickly. Oh, my goodness. Caravan missed them both, but Reed gets the offensive rebound out of it. Oh, my goodness. He had Ross wide open in the corner. Couldn't find him. So now it's back to Demery off left wing. He'll shoot a 3 out of it. No. And the rebound, Burnett. Oh, wow. That's a huge empty trip. And at the other end, Cadeau loops the ball inside. Johnson deep catch. Lindeborg scores off glass. UConn had a chance at 2 or 3 points on that last trip, came up empty. Lindeborg scores at the other end, and the lead is 11. Is it too far for UConn to get to the finish? Here's Mullins catching fire. 3, and he needed it. They needed it, and he's got it. the corner, a three-point hit. Timeout taken by Dan Hurley in UConn, who's all the way out on the floor. There was contact after the made basket that ended with Demery on the floor. He wanted a foul out of that. He and his team goes to the bench, and now we'll discuss in a timeout. That's the penultimate timeout there for UConn, but Mullins with a big three-point hit right there. Greenfield, Indiana native, back home again in Indiana. And did he ever need that? Was just 2 of 14 from the field prior to that make. Big time hit right there for Mullins. Again, we were discussing earlier, and listen, we are not the people to come to talk in NCAA tournament games about the draft stock of these players, and I'm not going to talk about it here, other than the anecdote that I'm giving that there is some talk that he's played himself into being a first-round pick in this tournament. Only that to say that we haven't heard anything like that about Mullins basically since the Duke game. You hit one big shot, now you're a first-round pick. But if he comes back next year and for any other years past that, he is going to be lethal in the college game.
They are checking whether it's a dead ball technical or a flagrant.
Oh, wow. So they are checking that contact after the three from Mullins. Demery ended up down on the deck. How he got there is what they're reviewing. He did take a shoulder from Burnett. No, I beg your pardon. It was actually Cadeau with the contact.
Question, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
If Mullins comes back next year, who's going to be hated by more casual people? Braylon Mullins or Gavin Doty, the new Syracuse guy?
Right. Doty, who is in the portal, but I don't believe he's made it official, but I think we all know where he's going.
Nothing came of that, by the way.
All right, so they did review it.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything on that.
And it stays 56-48 with 5:21 to go. Michigan inbounding in their home whites. Dark blue numbers, maize trim, white shorts, white socks, white shoes. And Cadeau into the front court, a bounce pass for Mara. Warmly embraced on a left wing handoff for Lindeborg, who works his way in the lane. His pull-up floater twice off the back of the rim. No! And he's able to work his way through traffic and punch in a tip back. Lindeborg not nearly at 100% tonight, but trying to give his all. He's got 11 points in this championship game after he only played 14 minutes on Saturday. Michigan by 10. Demery the other way, cranks a pass into the left corner for Ross, who then feeds it inside. Caravan whips it. Mullins is open. He fakes the three, cuts left on the wing, takes the three, and makes another one. Mullins sticks the landing from deep. 58-51, 4.5 left. Left-handed dribble for McKinney at the other end. Plays catch on the perimeter with Mara, who turns at the top of the key. Hand off Cadeau. Two UConn players got tangled up. Cadeau couldn't get around it. Centering pass up high. Lindeborg. Downhill drive. He lost it, but we get a whistle. Foul is on Jaden Ross in Connecticut. And that's a tough foul right there because only 6 on the shot clock. They played good defense that trip, UConn. Lindeborg will get to the line for 2. Michigan has been nearly perfect at the foul line tonight. And Lindeborg for the season is 82%. First one is good. Well, his numbers aren't going to be as legendary as we thought they could be in this Final Four because of the injuries suffered Saturday, but he is putting on a Warriors-like performance tonight. Knocks down the second. The lead is 9, 60-51. That last foul on UConn will get Michigan into the bonus off the next foul. Took a long time for either team to get over the limit. Ross dribbles into the front court as we approach the final 4 minutes of the Final Four and of the college basketball season. And Demery handles outside left, changes direction to his right at the top of the key. Cadeau pressures him defensively, bounces it to Mullins off the right elbow, spins inside, dumps it off. Reed got positioning on Mara, and as he forces it up from underneath, he draws a foul on Johnson, and that's Johnson's fourth. With 3:48 left, a 9-point game, Johnson's fourth foul, that is crucial. And down the stretch we go in Indianapolis. The national championship on the line. Michigan second or UConn seventh will be won over the next 3:48, maybe more.
A reminder, after this game, we will have a very quick post-game recap. We'll do our thanks and our my essay and thanks for the entire, not essay, you know what I mean, for the entire season. So make sure to stick around for all of that. All right, Pierre Moss. These are two massive free throws coming up right here for UConn. You're down 9 with 3:48 to go. It's simple. You need scores. You need stops. You need both in bunches.
Yeah, pretty much. And when you get those scores, you need to make sure that you don't take a whole lot of time off the clock either. So to save yourself some time so you can get those stops on the other end, and then you got to score again, like you said. So scores and stops, like you said, they are needed in bunches. And UConn's got to be smart about the clock here.
Going to get a chance there. By the way, for those of you that believe in the analytics aspect, I'm looking at the JT's behind the scenes screens, and it's a 94.6 win probability for Michigan. That sounds like a lot, but remember Duke's win probability was up in the 90s for a good chunk of their game against UConn in the Elite Eight, and we all know how that one ended. Well, indeed. Foul count overall now 17-11. UConn with the overall in the game with 17 fouls to Michigan's 11. The game reset. 1 timeout left for Connecticut. 3 timeouts left for Michigan. 3:48 to go. The Wolverines with a 60-51 lead. JT, how you holding up?
I'm surviving.
We're almost to the end. We're almost to the end of the madness.
Thank goodness, because it is 4 o'clock in the morning, which means it's 11 p.m. for you guys.
I was getting ready to say, as much as I want to disagree about it, finally being over with, I get your point because, well, you have things to do and you're at stupid o'clock over there. But that's never stopped you either. All right, Matthew Owens, I'm going to say it one more time. Take us to the finish line. Oh, immaculate one. The A.J. Foyt of calling games, since we are in Indianapolis.
Here we go.
Or the Jeff Gordon. Yeah, you're the Jeff Gordon of our platforms, of our time. So anyway.
Don't we wish?
In all seriousness, immaculate one. Get us to the yard of bricks and get us to the milk.
A yard of bricks in sight, 48 days away from the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. And less than 4 minutes away from a championship being won here in Indy that's hosted so many great Final Fours in the past. 3:48 to go. And Michigan with a 9-point lead. That last foul, as I mentioned, on Merez Johnson Jr., his fourth. So you got Johnson with 4 fouls for Michigan, Ball with 4 fouls for UConn. But, I mean, at this point, I know you've got to be strategic just in case it goes to overtime, but you're about to the point where you got to put all your cards on the table, and if they foul out, they foul out. Reed, wow, gets a tremendous bounce on his first free throw and makes it. He's gotten better at the line as the season's gone on, but he's still just 60% for the season. An immaculate tournament by this guy. Second free throw is right on target, 60-53. To the point that the guys were making during the break, UConn just about has to play a perfect game from here on out, a perfect 3 minutes and change. They can't allow many more than one basket here, and they've got to come up with points every time they have the ball. Wow, Gale had it knocked away by Mullins. They say it's off of Mullins, out of bounds. Michigan will retain it. Shot clock, as you see, at 16. Gale will inbound near side front court. And he'll throw it all the way into the backcourt, safely to Cadeau, who caught 70 feet away from the basket. Now he begins to dribble forward across the timing line. Reed with a quick hedge. Cadeau had it blitzed out of his hands to the right wing for McKinney. Muscles inside on Ross. Fadeaway jumper through an absolute crowd. Hit nothing. And the rebound to UConn. Huskies with a chance to really put scoreboard pressure on Michigan for the first time in this whole half. Demery right-handed dribble on the perimeter along the arc from left to right. His pass for Reed was nearly fumbled. Demery recovers out of the right corner. Got an offensive foul away from the ball on UConn. It's on Mullins. Hurley takes his glasses off. Oh, chance to make it a 4 or 5 point game.
I thought
right
it was
there.
a slip. I thought he just slipped, but we'll see.
And no challenge either. So Michigan into the front court with Cadeau, who threads a bounce pass to his left. McKinney held in a phone booth by Ross's defense. Into the left corner for Cadeau, who slips again here, and they call a foul on Demery, his fourth. So Demery commits his fourth foul, and Cadeau will get free throws out of it. Big free throws coming up now for Cadeau, who, for so much of the early portion of his career, struggled at the free throw line. 70% for the season, and the Wolverines have made 16 in a row in this game. And now the 17th is poured in. Cadeau having a great game again. He well could be on his way to most outstanding player of this Final Four. Even with the shooting woes on Saturday. Johnson, make that Lindeborg to the bench. Johnson still on with 4 fouls. Cadeau makes the free throw. 18 straight at the line for Michigan. UConn the inbound down 9. They've never lost a national championship game. Gonna have to have a special run down the stretch here to win this one. Demery outside right. He's got Gale on him defensively up top. Straight on deep 3. Caravan in your eye hole! Wow. When this team needs a basket, they can come up with one. Inbound through some pressure to Gale. He was able to shake away from Mullins to get some space, and into the front court he goes with about 2 minutes left. Screen up top. McKinney! Oh, it's knocked away by Reed! He bats it into the front court. Can he run it down and save it? He can! Underneath ball! Missed the layup! Bodies on the floor! No whistle! Michigan ball! Cadeau threads a bounce pass! Underneath Johnson! Kick to the left corner. Gale in the lane! Feed right corner. McKinney gets free! 3 up! Yes! Oh my gracious! What a sequence! Trey McKinney! With the tray of his life! Michigan by 9! Timeout Wolverines! A sequence that may win a trophy! UConn with the takeaway! Looked like they had a transition bucket, it was denied! And then in transition, chicken salad from Trey McKinney in Michigan, with just their second 3 of the game, Seth.
Well, the win probability ain't at 100%, but it feels darn close after that one. What a sequence. Okay, you don't like when I quote him, but I'm going to here. This was some stinking sequence there. I mean, you have the steal from UConn, the out of control, the missed layup, and Michigan. They haven't made many threes all night. Picked a good time to make one. They picked a heck of a time to make one. But to your point earlier, you said every time UConn needs a basket, every time they need a basket, Alex Caravan makes it for them, it feels like.
Yeah, it's a 5-point swing.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's a
what I was
5-point
thinking.
swing.
Exactly what I was thinking. Pierre, it was a 5-point swing. Could have been a 4-point game. Instead, it's 9, and now there's under 2 to go. Ball back on the floor for Dan Hurley, and he brings it up with 100 seconds left to a trophy. Ball feeds it up the middle for Demery, who cuts left, gets a screen from Reed. Demery swings it up top. Caravan can't get off a three against Lindeborg. Gives it up on the right wing. Ball swings it left. Mullins back for Ball. Head fake. Head of the key. Desperation three. No. Caravan offensive rebound knocked out of his hands. Reed goes up, and he gets fouled with 1:23 on the clock by Cadeau. That's not the worst thing in the world for Michigan to get Reed at the line. Free throws for Reed, 60% for the season. And this one is all around the rim and in. 21st offensive rebound for UConn. If you would have told me coming into this game that UConn would have 20 offensive rebounds, I'd tell you they'd win by 20. One more for Reed, and this one's good. Dan Hurley only has one timeout he can use from here to the finish. He won't use it here. Ball back to the bench to get a breather. And Reed to the bench as well. Remember, he's got 4. They don't want him out there defensively, but that leaves you susceptible to Mara as they trap McKinney in the backcourt. He feeds it cross-court. Lindeborg thrown ahead into the front court for Gale. They get it across the timing line cleanly. Now Michigan can set their offense. Cadeau on the Final Four logo at midcourt. Oh, my goodness, a foul called. It's against Demery, and that's it for him. He was trying to crowd Cadeau. As we mentioned earlier, maybe not the worst thing in the world if you're UConn to have Cadeau shooting free throws, although he did make 2 just a moment ago. But Demery has fouled out, and you wouldn't want to foul on that trip after you had let, about 18 seconds off the shot clock. But now Cadeau goes to the line, 70% shooter from the line of the season, 6 of 7 tonight. And again, Michigan on an incredible stretch here from the line. Trying to salt it away from this charity stripe. Smith comes back in for UConn. This Wolverine program that has been the bridesmaid so many times. Cadeau front into the 1-and-1 all the way around the rim and in. They are now plus 12 at the foul line in this game. 22 makes to UConn's 10. And they've made 19 in a row. And Cadeau hits that one too. My goodness. UConn to inbound. Mullins gets it in. Smith with a bobble, but he picks it up. Brings it across the timing line with a minute now to go in the national championship game. Smith feeds the left corner. Mullins gets free. Up for 3. They need it. He can't get it to drop. The rebound down to Gale. Foul is called. And it might be on Michigan. It is. I'm not sure. Not really sure where they got that foul from. It's going to give UConn free throws, though, and it'll be Caravan, the ultimate veteran in this sport. 151st college basketball game of his career, and his last. Knocks down the first. Trying to become the first non-UCLA player to win 3 national championships. Second one is also good. Keeps UConn with a sliver of light at the end of the tunnel. They trail by 7. 53.5 seconds to go. Cadeau will inbound. Gets it into the near corner. McKinney gets doubled. Mullins tried to steal it, and they nearly did get a steal. McKinney falls on the floor to get it. It's a jump ball. Michigan's got the arrow. Oh, that was nearly perfect for UConn right there. They got exactly what they wanted. A coffin corner double on McKinney. Mullins trying to swipe it. McKinney with a great play to dive on the floor in the blink of an eye to get on top of it. Dusty May, smart to call this timeout. He had 2 left. Takes one here, 48 8/10 seconds to go. Dan Hurley getting a word with the official there that was on top of that play. UConn thought it was a travel, wanted a traveling call. So 48 seconds to go here. For those of you just tuning in, just learning about us, finding us on the world of YouTube, I can see a lot of you watching right now. And if you're new and you like what you see, but most importantly, you like what you hear, having fun and enjoying whatever you want to call this, watch along. Hit the like and subscribe button. We cover so many sports around here. The World Cup coming up in the summer. Stanley Cup playoffs and NBA playoffs right around the corner. Every race from the IndyCar Series, every NASCAR Cup Series race. Women's College World Series in the summer. Grand Slam tennis. We've covered college basketball all season long, and it's coming to an end here, and Michigan nearly turned it over, and they did on the inbounds pass. It got away from Lindeborg, who tried to save it from going out of bounds. He could not. UConn gets their takeaway. And now they got to score off of it. Doesn't have to be a 3. You just got to get points, and it's got to be quick. 45 and 7/10 seconds left. Inbound will come from underneath. Smith to get it in. His targets to get it into are Ball, Mullins, Caravan, and Reed. A championship DNA instilled into this UConn team. When they need a basket, they most all the time get it. They need one here desperately. The inbound out to Mullins. He catches on the edge of the Final Four logo. He cuts to his left. He's trying to get free. He can't. He corkscrew, spins it out. Ball steps into a 3. Then he banks in! Solo ball! Gracious! Timeout UConn, their last. With 37 seconds left. And there are somehow still air in the lungs of the Huskies. You gotta kill them 1,000 times. Seth, I don't know how I don't know how they do it, Seth. I really don't.
Like I just said.
And they've changed it, Matthew. 2-pointer.
Okay, it's a 2.
Oh.
It's still, they needed a basket. That hurt. Ooh, I don't know about, no, hold on. That's a 3.
Is that toe's just on the line? Wow.
No, that's a 3. That's a 3.
That's got to be a 3.
That's absolutely a 3. Yeah, that'll be a 3. They changed it on the scoreboard. The officials are at the monitor now. That's a 3. Has to be. Wow.
But anyway, what I was saying earlier was, like I told Pierre earlier, I said, if you think you've TKO'd UConn, you got to make sure there's a doctor on standby and make sure they don't have a pulse.
Well, they got a slight one right now. Right now, the scoreboard reads 67-62. They called it on the floor a 2.
Call has been reinstated.
There you go.
I was going to say, what were they watching?
Yeah, they're going to make it official with the announcement over Lucas Oil Stadium with all of these thousands of people in this enormous arena. Tens of thousands. A lot of Michigan fans, as you would expect. They love this area. They're already in this area. So many. Now, huge inbounds pass. They're going to run a football play here. All 5 below the baseline. Now they take off running their football routes, and Cadeau gets it into McKinney, who flips it back to his right. Cadeau has it again. UConn can't waste much time fouling, but Cadeau put it into the front court for Gale, and they foul him, and that's a 76% free throw shooter that they send to the line. Could have fouled Cadeau, who's 70%, but he's been making them tonight. They'll send Gale. And Michigan has made 20 straight free throws. Gale is 2 for 2 tonight. 2 free throws would not end this game, but it would come awfully, awfully close. They are in the double bonus, as you can see, so it is 2 shots, and Gale has it go all the way around the rim and drop out.
Clock has been changed, added 4 attempts now, 29.9.
29, 9/10 seconds left. Second free throw miss of the night for Michigan. UConn hangs on by a thread. Gale with 2 dribbles of the ball, bends the knees, flicks the wrist. He misses the second one, and the rebound is lassoed in by Mullins. Ahead in transition for Smith. Smith gets it into the front court with 22 seconds to go. He takes his time. He backpedals, bounces. Caravan, long straight up 3. No, it's short. Rebound, Gale had it, lost it. It ends up in the hands of McKinney. They try to tie him up. They can't. It's a foul committed by UConn with 13 seconds left. Now McKinney, a much better foul shooter, nearly 90%, will head to the line here. UConn got the misses they needed and got the ball into the hands of the guy that they wanted it in the hands of, and Caravan, from way out, missed it way short.
Sorry, I know I'm supposed to let you talk, but apparently Hurley is asking the officials to review an elbow on the previous play.
They do have a timeout left, UConn, so he could ask for a challenge. No, there's nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing right there that would get reversed. You certainly can't reverse that. Yeah, they are. I guess it looks like they are going to go to the monitor, but you can't reverse that. UConn has appealed. And of course, he down 4 with 13 seconds left. You got to roll the dice here. And I don't even know if it's a roll of the dice. Ask them to look at it. I hope that comes through. But I didn't see anything there, Seth or Pierre, that would get overturned on that.
Yeah, I don't see anything there myself, to be honest.
So we will await the verdict of the appeal here, as this is in a football stadium, just about a Hail Mary from Dan Hurley, but again, he had to throw it, given the situation that he's in. Verdict coming through. JT will tell us about it. It's upheld. So
Unsuccessful.
yeah, and we didn't think it would be reversed there. So UConn out of timeouts, 13 seconds left, and Trey McKinney, who hit a big 3 out of a wild scramble of a sequence about 4 or 5 minutes of game time ago, will go to the line. He's nearly 90% for the season, and he's on target on the first. And the finish line is very clear for Michigan now. 13 seconds to go. McKinney spins the ball in his hands. Free throw is good. The lead is 6. UConn has to go for 3 now. Smith will trigger in, and he gets it back on a quick return from Reed. He flashes into the front court. He goes to the rim. His reverse layup won't go. The rebound spiked into the ground and thrown ahead for Gale into the backcourt. Caravan will reach it, but only 2 seconds remain, and this game is over! May and Michigan finish a majestic march through the madness, and the Wolverines are finally again the national champions. Michigan is on top of the college basketball world again. A bridesmaid for so many years and so many times since their title from nearly 4 decades ago. But this time, on the final Monday, the confetti will rain down in maize and blue. Hail to the champions! Michigan, as worthy of a national champion as you could get. The Big Ten's big drought ends. It was Michigan State, the last Big Ten club that won a national title here in Indy 26 years ago. Now it's Michigan in Indy that does it, and Dusty May turning around a program that won only 8 games just 2 seasons ago. An incredible turnaround, and Dusty May, just the beginning of an incredible career as a college basketball bench boss. He's now 63-13 at Michigan, and win number 63 is as big as it gets. 69-63, the final score.
I think Tracy Wolfson's going to like this interview.
I think Tracy is having the time of her life. Michigan,
As she should.
Michigan able to KO UConn, which is as tough of a challenge as there is in this sport. A legendary career for Alex Caravan will come to an end. What a sensational career for that young man. And for UConn, well, their fans aren't used to losing on this Monday night. But tonight, Seth, too much muscle, too much May, too much Michigan.
Well, the calendar reads April 6th at 11:23 p.m. Eastern, April 6th in these United States, but it might as well be May Day for the University of Michigan. Second national championship, the first since Glenn Rice and co. back in 1989. Matthew mentioned throughout the night the numerous times that they got to the Monday night bout and came up just short tonight. And the thing is, and this is what I think makes a really good champion, Pierre Moss, I've always felt this way in sports. You know you're a special team when you can win games not playing in your normal situation. What I'm saying is, this was a high-flying, a high-gunning team. They had scored 90 points in every game in this tournament. They only scored 69 tonight, Pierre, but it was more than nice enough for them to get the job done.
No question about it. Championship teams know how to win in different ways. Championship teams know how to win in blowout ways, but they can also win ugly. And let's be honest, Michigan won ugly tonight, but you know what? They won't care. They're national champions. And that is a very, very sweet part of this for the Michigan Wolverines.
How good do you think Tony Petitti feels and all the Big Ten executives? They don't have to hear about it anymore. And it's becoming the year of the Big Ten. They've got the football championship with Indiana. They won the women's championship with UCLA yesterday. And you got the men's title with Michigan. I know it's a sport we're not going to cover at least this year, but UCLA looks like they might win it for them in baseball. I mean, you know, I think everybody knows, well, I say outside of one team, I really don't care. The SEC people can say what they want, but the Big Ten runs college sports right now. There is no question about that.
That's a fact. That is a fact. And by the way, UCLA's gymnastics team, the women's gymnastics team, they're pretty good too.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, so might be getting something there. Don't know if they're going to get one in softball because it's probably going to be Texas or Oklahoma or Texas Tech again, but
more than likely.
We'll get to Peter Matthews' thoughts a little bit later on in the inning here. I know it's late for all of us, but on the UConn side of things, Pierre, this is a team that fought hard, never gave up. They were like a cockroach. You got to kill them, and they finally fell short. But I want to specifically, I don't want to make this some crusade about how things are now, but I'll just say this. I think we just saw the last of his kind finish his career tonight in the form of Alex Caravan. 4-year career, winner, tough as nails. As a college basketball fan, it's hard to not gonna miss that guy, and he might be the last of a generation as he walks off the floor tonight. He's got nothing to be ashamed of, though. 2 national championships and played in another.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I mean, a wonderful career for Alex Caravan comes to an end tonight, but like you said, he has nothing to hang his head down about at all. I mean, he's been a wonderful servant to Connecticut for sure, and no doubt he will be remembered as one of the greatest Huskies to ever lace him up. He'll go out as a 2-time national champion, a 3-time finalist. I mean, listen, you couldn't have had a better career than him. You really couldn't have.
So, what a win, indeed. And Pierre will get one final word for you in just a second. Matthew Owens, I mean, they were one of the best teams all year long. I mean, were they pretty tonight? No, but as far as the season goes, I don't think that you can have too many complaints and call this team an unworthy champion based on how they played throughout the entire year.
Yeah, no, they threw really good teams around like rag dolls through so much of the season. They end up with 3 losses by a combined 16 points. And, I mean, just pile driving opponents in the tournament up until of course, this championship night. But, you know, what it says about this team to win this game tonight against the opponent they played with Lindeborg so clearly not 100%. I wouldn't even say it was 80%. To win the game the way they did tonight with all that they battled through with injury and their foul trouble. They didn't have as much as UConn, but they certainly had their fights with it. It says a lot about this team to win the title the way they did. And this has been, again, it's 37 years since that first championship. And what a long, long road it's taken to get to this point, right? The Fab Five, the Fab Five era, then the Fab Five aftermath, years of maybe not darkness, but not many bright moments.
Well, you got to remember, they went 11 years between NCAA tournament appearances on the court between 98 and 09 when Beeline came in.
Yeah, and it's been a long road to get to this point for a brand that still, I know everybody talks about the brand of Michigan football, the brand of just Michigan and that blocked M, it still is something that grabs everyone, makes you pay attention. And for them to go nearly 40 years without a title, I don't get the feeling their next title will take 37 years. I just don't get that sense.
Look, it's hard to predict things. With the way college basketball is, it's hard to predict things like that. But yeah, as long as Dusty's there and they've got all the funds, I think they'll be just fine. Pierre, Dennis thought, Matthew, before we get to the final bit of it, as Dusty May raises the national championship trophy aloft. Matthew, thoughts on UConn? I mean, what a team. What a freaking team. They fought literally to the bitter end. Just couldn't get it done tonight, but nothing to be ashamed of, especially for a guy like Alex Caravan. I think no matter if you're a UConn fan, if you're a college basketball fan of a certain ilk, you're going to miss seeing him, if for anything else, because 4 years at one school is going to be hard to come by for a while.
Absolutely. And you think about this Michigan team, you talk about the Fab Five. I don't know what you call this group, the Transfer Five. Caravan through everything, the NIL portal, stood with them for 151 games and lifted this championship trophy twice. He lifted Big East trophies, hit all kinds of big-time shots, and now what a career.
Dusty May, by the way, now is, I believe, tied with John Calipari for the most wins in the first 2 years at one school with 63. The first 2 years Calipari was at Kentucky. And the one trump card he has on that is a national championship. Cal's didn't come until year 3 on that department. Okay, now it's late. We all want to watch one shining moment, so I'll go around the room one final time and put a bow on this season. I want to start with you, Pierre Moss. First of all, just thanks for being with us. You weren't here the other night when I said this, but, thank you, because it's our anniversary weekend. Because of you, you helped us get this. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have had this platform to begin with. And I could say from the bottom of my heart, and I have a lot of friends in life. Matthew's a great friend, everybody else, but Pierre, you are legitimately one of, if not the nicest people that I've ever come around, and I appreciate your friendship over the years. You're the best, man.
Hey man, listen. I appreciate the compliment for sure. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Definitely has some health issues over the past year, but you guys stuck with me, and I certainly appreciate it. And again, you guys like my brothers. You guys, matter of fact, not like my brothers. You are my brothers, brothers from another mother, and my down south brothers. So if I'm ever in the North Carolina, South Carolina area, I will definitely be looking you guys up so we can hang out. But yeah, I mean, just it's awesome. This platform is awesome, and we're gonna continue this platform, just in a different form. And I can't wait until the high school football season gets started up here, and I can't wait to do other stuff up here as well. But we got plenty of sports to go. This is not the end. This is only the beginning, and it's going to be a glorious next few months here on USM.
And if you do come to the Carolinas, Pierre, dinner, I can't speak for Matthew, but dinner is on me. No doubt about it.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you.
Matthew, I don't know where I want to go next, because I guess I'll go JT next, because one, he's got the later time, and two, I want to kind of have Matthew at least have the penultimate word, being that he called the freaking game. So, JT, your first college basketball season, your first March Madness with us. How'd you enjoy it?
Well, if that's your definition of madness, well, you've got that correct. Yeah, it's been chaotic. Lots of lost sleep, and I can't wait for more lost sleep when we get into the NBA side of things later this month. It's been a good ride, and, well, UConn stayed in until the end, but it went Michigan's way in the end, and, well, as we said from the start, they were the better team coming into it.
By the way, Matthew, this guy, JT, he is retweeting Michigan championship stuff on his timeline. Look at him go. Matthew, I think we've converted another fan of the sport, I think. I think we have, Matthew.
Maybe so.
Maybe so. Hope so. But we do.
I love it.
I've just seen NASCAR Chasm. Congratulations, Michigan, for winning that other sport, with a picture of the NFL side and college football side of things. I believe it's college football.
Yeah. Well, oh my goodness gracious. All right, JT, and in all seriousness, thank you for all your hard work. It does not go unappreciated, unnoticed, and unloved. Matthew, you and I have been doing this for a while. Hopefully we'll do it for some more time to come. This is it's my personal favorite sport, and if it's not your number one, it's very, very close to it. You've loved the sport for so long, so I wouldn't have wanted to share this experience with anybody else other than you guys, particularly you, Matthew, because, I mean it when you say you're the best. And just a final thought on the games you did and the college basketball season as a whole.
Yeah, great season. It was the greatest non-con slate we've ever seen. It was one of the greatest seasons that I've been a part of. Enjoyed it, and so much enjoyed having JT along. I love it. I love it. I really do. Yeah, we knew from the jump this Michigan team was going to be good. Then we figured out they were going to be really good. Then we figured out that they're great. And they are. And now they can say, I will allow, the big curmudgeon will allow them to say, greatest Michigan team ever. they are that. Well done. Great to be with you guys throughout the tournament. I will continue to say there's not anybody. Now I don't scan through and scour through YouTube for everyone. I'm pretty sure there is nobody that goes through, no crew, no group of people that goes through and will call 8 games in 2 days like we did. I know there's others that, will do their own great stuff, and they are great at it. And God bless you, but the first 2 days of this tournament, we did 8 games in 2 days. And I don't know anyone else that does that, and JT
Should have done more, to be fair. Let's be honest. Ha ha ha.
Oh yeah, well we're going to 76 next year, so we'll try to one up ourselves, please.
Oh God.
JT, you are the absolute best. I don't know how long we're going to have you around, but I'm going to cherish it for however long we have you around.
We will one up ourselves in the World Cup. Definitely.
Before he goes to Sky
Here we go.
TV or somewhere, because we're not going to have him long.
23rd of April is the day that I go to Sky. So, yeah.
He's too good for us. And then,
not a joke, by the way.
No, it's not. And Pierre, you're the best. Everything that Seth said is absolutely right. You're the best.
Simply the best.
There we go. And Seth, enjoyed spending the season with you as always. And we'll be back, God willing, here in about 7 months for the start of next season. And we'll complain about stuff, and we'll complain about, God knows what, and the tournament being 76 teams, and portal and NIL, and
because
it'll be back in 7
months. Let's have a 7-month off season. NASCAR could never.
No, never, not at all, not at all.
But yeah, it was really fun. Even through the trials and tribulations that we suffered on our end, it was fun.
You are still definitely not salty, Matthew.
I am not salty.
No.
Yeah, he's got a little he's a little bit more sweet than sour. Maybe sour, but salty never.
There is no salt, just sugar.
Very good.
There you go.
Very good. Thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, time to pretty much put a bow on it. I want to say a couple other things again. Thank you to Pierre. Thank you to JT. Thank you to Matthew and everybody else who was with us here. And thank you to all the college basketball fans. And thank you to all the college basketball coaches who put up that great non-conference schedule. Must-see TV every night. My saying is, any night, any league, the magic can happen. And that is true. But it does help when you have most of the marquee non-conference games virtually all season long. And a lesson learned tonight, and it's an interesting. And is there a right way to win in college basketball? You know what? It's actually kind of hard to say after tonight. On the one hand, yeah, it'd be easy to say that embracing the transfer portal must be the move, and it has absolutely, indeed, helped with Michigan. But UConn showed, and UCLA on the women's side too, showed that you can win with a group of experienced seniors. But all in all, there are some things. Now, I feel good post, but I am going to be salty for 1 minute. I know tonight's game wasn't the Mona Lisa, and I understand there was things, but I really don't want to hear another thing from anybody about this tournament sucked because XYZ. Stop it. There were no upsets. Well, yeah, because you didn't, sure, but you didn't watch the games. You didn't see Siena you didn't see Siena put a scare into Duke, or High Point put a scare into Arkansas. And the great finishes, I'll tell you, one shining moment, there might be a couple good shots get left off in one shining moment. You have the Figueres shot against Florida, the Owens shot, of course, the miracle there for Kentucky, and so many great moments that we all love in this sport. And, well, again, I love sharing the mic with you guys. So, we put a bow on this college basketball season. Unfortunately, it is now over once again. It is now time to use the old saying, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. The final score tonight from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Michigan 69, UConn 63. Wolverines champions for the second time in program history and first since 1989. The party is on in Ann Arbor. For JT, Pierre Moss, Matthew Owens, and everyone involved, I'm Seth Eaves. So long, good night. Congratulations to Dusty May of the University of Michigan Wolverines on winning the national championship. We'll talk to you Hoop Junkies once again in November. Goodbye for now.